Y'all ready to talk about the salamander? The Pythagorean theorem? The paradox?
Who?
What?
The trolley problem?
Who?
The trolley problem?
So y'all just don't know.
I guess I'm not tapped in.
You're just not knowers. You're just not knowers.
I guess I'm not tapped in.
We out of the loop.
What's the game? Put me up on game. Actually, no, I do know the trolley problem. I don't know why they call Santiago Aldama the trolley problem, but I know that that's his name. I know that's what streets are saying. Again, I don't understand the streets, but I know what they're saying.
Let's pause this conversation for later. What are we here today for?
We are here today.
So what are we
As you
talking
see by the
about?
title, we are not here to Babylon about nicknames. We are here to discuss every single team in the NBA, as you see by the title. Specifically, we're going to talk about one thing we've learned about every single NBA team in the calendar year 2025, which really kind of means one thing we've learned post-trade deadline, since January basketball doesn't really exist. But maybe there'll be some observations to be had there. But, one thing that's brand new to us, something that we're thinking about going into playoff settings, thinking about in the second half of the year, whatever it may be, one new fact that we feel like we've learned.
All right.
Let's go do it. We haven't done this in a minute, bro. It's been weeks and weeks of interviews. I'm ready to talk about all these NBA teams with the deepest depths of analysis.
Oh, yeah. iPad Mo, different animal, same beast. Here to do every NBA team for the first time.
It's a little bit different now because I got a pen in my system.
That's
Oh my God. That's
crazy.
insanity. I've seen your handwriting. That shit is awful. I can't imagine what it looks like digitally. Wow. Shout out iPad Mo. Shout out the pen.
Let's start.
Let's get straight into it.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my God.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters rejoice.
No, we've done a lot of talk lately about the main characters of the NBA. We talked a lot about the Lakers and Warriors as of late, since they're like the biggest storylines post All-Star break, transforming their teams. They're in a new era of kind of dominance low-key as of late, at least for the Lakers. We're not doing that today. We're going to talk about the little brothers of the league, shine some light on the less fortunate, the teams that don't get enough attention, the small market teams, the nobodies, just the irrelevancies around the league. Let's start with the New York Knicks. Mo, what is one thing you learned this year about the New York Knicks?
Oh, wait.
That's just completely not true. It's just completely not true.
I have the New York Knicks. Wow.
You do.
I love that, bro. I love that. Someone who wants to be the star, the face of the NBA, but never will be. Where can I start with the New York Knicks? I think when I was gone over like 2 weeks ago or whatever, you guys dove into the Knicks deeply on TD3 Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Tap in always. You guys were talking about, I think you guys like ranked how much you believed in certain teams, playoff teams, specifically the Knicks and whatnot. And I tuned in a little bit. Great stuff as always. And you guys eviscerated the Knicks and pointed out all their weaknesses. And Donovan looked like he officially sold out hope on his actual championship belief in the New York Knicks because of the way the team's built and all that. And one thing that I learned when it comes to the New York Knicks is that through all of this, I learned that they need to pivot, but also I have realized a certain pivot that they need to make. Now, through all the rumors that's been happening over the last, 2, 3, 4 weeks since the Luka Doncic trade happened, if I'm the New York Knicks and if I'm Leon Rose, you see Karl Anthony Towns, you like what he does offensively, but defensively, that's you can't ever achieve anything substantial.
Where is this going?
If I am Leon Rose, I'm hitting up Nico over there in Dallas. He's not doing too well. All right. I said I put up some pretty serious allegations towards him. He's on some pharmaceuticals. I will leave it at that. Okay. With that being said, if I'm the New York Knicks, I learned that they need to goddamn trade for Anthony Davis immediately as the season ends, bro. When they get bounced in the first round or second round in the most disappointing fashion, that needs to happen. That will revive your hopes, Donovan, as a Knicks fan.
I'm glad you said this.
Today. That's how we're starting today.
I'm glad you said this because last week I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing because obviously, when you get into the space that the Knicks are at, where you've traded a lot of your draft capital, you know that you're about to be spending a lot of money. You don't have a lot of moves to be made. And so you have to start being really creative. You have to start going after players and after teams that are also desperate in their situations. And it's okay, we do need a big man and we do need a big man defender. And how are we going to find a big man defender who can play center, who is undervalued, that we can get a little bit of value for? Why don't we trade for the guy who was hurt when he got traded, got hurt 30 minutes into his new team debut, and is in a franchise that apparently anything is on the table? So I'm with you, and I see the vision in that. I don't know how realistic it is, but I was thinking about that possibility, and then the subsequent possibility of us coming on here and then Isaac yelling at me and being like, ha ha ha, now you have to root for AD after rooted against it for so long. But I don't hate the idea, and the overall idea that the Knicks do need to pivot and that they do need to make another move to tinker with this lineup. I do agree with that, because you are right. Right now, I am not in on championship ceiling. I'm going round by round, day by day, seeing where the wind takes us, and then we'll go from there. But I do think that an ultimate big shakeup is once again on the horizon for the Knicks.
Yeah. So for some context, we started off with trade for Anthony Davis. The real point here is this team has been playing fucking poorly as of late. Mm-hmm. They just added Mitchell Robinson in the last 3 games. He's back. Donovan, I wonder what you think about that, how that's looked so far. But for the last 10 games, they're not only 26th in defense, which calls back to everything Mo just mentioned with Karl-Anthony Towns as a defender, calls back to what we said when they made this trade, what we knew would inevitably come about. This team has an untenable defense because they're 25th in the NBA in defensive rim shots allowed, which is not a good place to start from, and everything cascading around that hasn't been pretty, right? But in those last 10 games I mentioned, on top of that bad defense, they're 20th in offense. Even the juggernaut offense that carried them to start the season hasn't been too great lately. Why do you feel like that's been the case, Donovan? Because I feel like the defense is understood. We don't really need to go that far into that. Yeah. That's just been pitiful. Offensively, why are they sputtering so much?
I don't know. I mean, our offense kind of all year has been obviously very Brunson driven, very, very Cat driven. There's been some games Cat didn't play in the last game for personal reasons, but you've seen kind of some 3-point stuff that hasn't been too pretty with everything, and also everything looks very, very hard. I think the early on in the year when Brunson was there and when Cat was there, they were kind of able to, and when they were firing, they were able to get into their sets very, very easy. And as I've been watching them, the fluidity in which they get into certain actions hasn't necessarily been there. And so I don't know. I'm still I'm not sure, because there are times where the Knicks look very good. There are times where they look, kind of suspect. This last kind of stretch, it's not great analysis, but I'm not 100% sure what's going on with them right now.
Well, Mr. Mikal Bridges, Mr. 6 first-round picks, looks absolutely horrible the last 10 games. Have this pulled up. In these last 10 games, he's down from 18 points per game in the previous 51 to 13.2. I'm also on this new website called Data Baller, which is a very, very good website with so many cool tools. In this one, we're able to look at the last 10 games versus everything before that. He's shooting 29% from 3, down from 36 before that. 54% from 2, down from 60 before that. I saw somebody say on Twitter, I haven't fact-checked this, that before this last game where he had over 15, he had gone 10 games straight with less than 15 points. He just has not been good. And obviously, Cat's missed some games. They're losing that offensive punch for a few games here and there. Brunson's still been good, but outside of that, I feel like you're feeling the impact of how really, really incredibly reliant the offense is on the Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns 2-man game. Having the 5-out spacing of Cat and having the creation of Jalen Brunson is the entirety of their offense. Mo, you mentioned on stream, we kind of eviscerated them a couple weeks ago. And I had talked about this team's offense is not good, in terms of the sets they run, the organization they have, the ways Coach Tom Thibodeau is putting them in advantage to succeed with the talent they have. I don't think that shit is good at all. I don't think they're doing anything of note that's impressive. Their offense has been effective because Jalen Brunson and Cat are just a ridiculous 2 building blocks to build off of on that side of the ball. If you lose even one of those building blocks, everything really comes crashing down because they're not putting Mikal Bridges in a position to succeed. He's not doing himself any favors. OG hasn't impressed me, and nobody else on the roster has impressed me offensively in terms of creation outside of those 2 guys. It feels like a big problem to me.
Mo?
Hey, I'm just happy as hell, man. And that also leads me to another point, too, something that I was thinking about as well. Over the last few years, I feel like there's certain NBA coaches who you see who are able to like raise their team from the ashes. A couple years ago, we saw JB Bickerstaff do that with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then you see that time and time again with certain teams. Certain coaches are able to raise their team and like make them more useful in ways in which they weren't before. And I look at someone like Tibbs in the same way with the New York Knicks. I feel like his time has kind of ran out, and I don't know how much more he can do for this team schematically and inject like a new look. Like I can say the same thing about, I don't know, someone like the Memphis Grizzlies and Taylor Jenkins. He's someone else who's like fits under this whole like, yeah, your time is probably ran out, and I don't know how much more you can change this team. We probably need to get new minds, fresh brains in here to really like utilize the rest of these guys.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'll push back on the OG not being impressive. Over the last couple of games, OG's been playing pretty well, especially like offensively. But I think that like the Mikal part of it, it's weird because whether he's playing good or not, like there's sometimes where Mikal's
OG hit 29 last game. My bad. I didn't see that game. I meant in his last 10 games in terms of creation, making up for the fact that you're missing Cat and missing Jalen Brunson. I didn't mean to say OG's playing poorly. My bad. I didn't realize he just had 29 points.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But like with Mikal, sometimes his performances, they kind of go over my head because he's been inconsistent all year. Like there's been like you've had 10 game stretches where Mikal has been awful offensively. And then you had like 10 to 15 game stretches where everything is clicking. And even within those periods, the Knicks have still found ways to be successful offensively. So like, I think Mikal playing at that level consistently, that's what takes the Knicks to like, like number one offense in the league. You have a offensive superpower that you can kind of, lead behind. If he's just regular Mikal Bridges, which is, again, the ups and downs of what's been the season, then what you are looking at is an overpay for Mikal Bridges that you understood was the price because you were going all in and it is what it is, but you're just getting Mikal Bridges and you're not even getting like Brooklyn Nets Mikal. And so I think that for the Knicks, a lot of it has to, like as I said, a lot of it has to come down to just Jalen Brunson's shot making, Karl-Anthony Towns and his presence and his ability to stretch the floor and attack closeouts and, attack mismatches and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, like that's just what this offense is. And so whether or not things are hitting, that's really like on a game by game basis. And so that's what I'm saying. Like if you are thinking about the Knicks in Eastern Conference Finals, championship sense or NBA Finals, you can't do that because it really is, we have to win 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. Okay, got to do it again. It's not even by series. It really is like a very day by day type of process with them.
Yeah, I think we're just learning that the Knicks are just a very simple team, and simple can be good whenever you have one of the best players in the league, right? Since Luka Doncic has come to the Lakers, their offensive organization rate has really fallen down a cliff, but it hasn't been a problem because they're running less offensive sets because they're just putting the ball in Luka and LeBron's hands and telling them to cook, which is a winning formula when you have the 2 smartest offensive players in the league, right? That kind of feels like also how the Knicks have been run all year. On both sides of the ball. They just aren't super creative. You look across the league, there's so many smart teams that are really doing incredibly interesting things to maximize their talent. You look at Kenny Atkinson with the Cavs, right? The ways that he's using these 2 bigs, positioning them in different spaces to really bend their gravity as cutters, as shooters, all these creative offensive sets to get them in specific spots to make them better. If you watch a Cavs game, then you go watch a Knicks game side by side, it feels like you're watching 2 coaches that are operating on completely different levels. Like it is a different level of skill that I feel like we haven't seen from the Knicks this year in terms of how they're being coached. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. And then when I listen to you say that, I'm like, okay, that's very true. And then I dive deeper into that. I look at this roster. I'm just like, yo, you need like other actual playmakers. Like Josh Hart is great and he's a playmaker within himself, but he's not like one of the best playmakers in the NBA. He's not someone who you give the ball to and ask to create offense for players who are unable to do that, like the Mitchell Robinsons or the Precious Achiuwas of the world. Like that's just not his skill set whatsoever. So he doesn't have the synergy that allows him to do so, like we see guys like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have with each other, and that's just like a structural issue.
Brunson is kind of similar to Shea in how they play in that he is the engine of the offense as a scorer. he's a good passer, not amazing, but he's going to keep the offense moving by just being a nonstop dominant bucket getter, getting downhill, creating actions for others. That's okay. You can decide to play that way because that's how Brunson is at his best, clearly. And as you've seen, it works. There's times when they've been top 5 offense in the league for an extended period of time. But I think that style works for Shea and works for the Thunder because on the other side of the ball, they put all their assets in having an amazing defense where they're like, Shea carried the offense. We can play the simplistic style offensively, which maybe that's dumbing down how OKC plays, but maybe it's a back comparison. But, you know, they have that because they have the counter of having crazy defensive talent, crazy defensive scheme, and really dominating on that side of the ball with the rest of their assets. The Knicks don't have that. So it's kind of that one-dimensional offense without the amazing defense to play off of it. And it just makes them kind of fall flat as a contender.
Yeah, and that's what sucks because that was the expectation. The expectation is that you have Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. You're going to have these 3 wing defenders who can do absolutely everything and cover up everything for Jalen and Cat. And that just hasn't been the case all year. And, you know,
no, when it was? It was when you had Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson as the back end. And that is exactly why we didn't like the Cat trade very much. We saw the vision. They needed a center. We understand Mitchell Robinson was out. We understand they were put in a bind, and he was a short-term and long-term solution. We understand that. We've come to terms with it. But as soon as it happened, we said there's no way you're building a good defense with that unit. And you need to be a defensive slanted team. You need to have a strong defensive identity as a Coach Tom Thibodeau team. And there's just no chance they're ever going to have that again.
I think this is also a great lesson for everybody at home, just being like, damn, like the most important position defender. Ooh, I just got nasally, dude. The most important defensive position
Keep going.
on the goddamn court is the center position. No matter what, you can have all the wings in the world. They're not terrible at that end, but they haven't reached up to expectation. But even if they did, like they're still not saving your ass when it comes to how points are scored in the paint, and just how many times teams are just punching them in the throat on that end.
Yeah. All right, man, let's move on to another team in the East. My first team to talk about, Sniffly Ass. You went like this? That didn't do anything.
Yeah, bro. I'm going through it like usual. Listen.
First team I want to talk about today, the Cleveland Cavaliers. What have I learned in 2025 about the Cavs? Where do I begin? I could talk about the fact that they are still the most dominant team in the East. Still amazing. Still, only reason they're not being talked about more is because the OKC Thunder are finding a way to keep up with their insane pace of wins right now. But they are having one of the most dominant seasons we've seen in a long time. I could say that, but we've been knew that before the season. The main thing that I've learned in 2025, maybe it's not fair to say I learned it because it started before then, but what I've come to grips with and fully accepted, I think Evan Mobley is a top 20 player in the NBA.
Nice.
That's fair. Good job.
Evan Mobley has made the leap to not just being better, not just being a star, which maybe last year he wasn't quite that, and he made the All-Star leap, which is clear from the start of the year. I've fully come around that like there definitely isn't 20 players I want over him right now, and I'm thinking about him compared to someone like Chet Holmgren, who we've said a lot about over the past couple of years and how much we value him because we understand the insane value of having a DPOY level defender as well as somebody who can stretch the floor and give you that 5-out spacing. Like that's just a crazy team building concept that even if he's not going to be the best player in your team, him as the second best player because he's so complementary to other stars, like gives you a crazy elevation. I'm kind of starting to feel the same way about Evan Mobley, but it's not because of the shooting leap, which is real. You know, he can't shoot the 3 now, which is a thing, but he's not the spacer of a Chet Holmgren despite that. He is a crazy, crazy, crazy scorer attacking mismatches. That shit is so unbelievably valuable from your second option playing off of guards like Darius and Donovan Mitchell. He looks like a 2000s power forward in the NBA, but with modern NBA big man defense. The way that he just like, he's kind of slow and methodical with how he attacks one-on-one. He's like insanely long and strong now that he just kind of like walks in, take these big ass steps side to side laterally and just like throws his elbows around with these post moves and just finishes over people that are smaller than him. It feels automatic now. The leap he's made with unassisted buckets is insanely impressive.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that top 20, listen, once I'm gonna have to think about it. We will have to get to rankings.
I think he's a lock for sure. Top 25. He's a lock.
Yeah, 25 is a lock for sure.
I'll go there. Top 20 is a bit much just because when you start ranking like top 10 guys, there's like 12 or 13 guys that could be in the top 10, and then you kind of have to fill it out afterwards. So
we put Chet at like 19, projecting a little bit, but like we value Chet as that range, and he's low key better than Chet right now. Like as a huge Chet
It's hard to
believer,
value Chet right now.
I'm falling on my sword right now. I'm falling on my sword a little bit because I'm a huge Chet guy and I've been propelling him over people. You asked me this early in the year, I would have said I'm easily taking him over Evan Mobley. The scoring leap is that real to me. And the defense, I think Chet's a better anchor defensively, but it's not a huge gap. Evan Mobley is also a brilliant defender.
Yes, he is. He is.
The Chet and Evan Mobley thing to me, last year I was 100% like on the boat. I'm taking Chet Holmgren in a heartbeat, and it's not even close. And that's because of the disappointment, the level of disappointment that I felt in Evan Mobley on the offensive side of the floor. Both tremendous defenders. They're easily both going to win one, maybe two defensive players of the year. I'm not having that conversation. But offensively, the issue with me was seeing how timid at times someone like Evan Mobley would be and how he was just like misutilized and he wasn't put. It's like almost Kenny Atkinson gave him instilled like a lot of confidence in him, bro. It's like he locked his ass in a room. He's like, here, listen to 12-minute David Goggins goddamn podcast or whatever it is, just hype music and shit. And
who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
And he's like literally been moving like that with that energy. And he's like,
I love that so much.
If he's legitimately like walking out there, like sticking dudes down. I don't know if I can have. I don't know how long.
What are we talking about?
What?
That's
he's
crazy.
Sticking elbows in folks. What
that's
do you mean?
Crazy.
But no, you're right. He's way more aggressive this year. He went from 73 to 77% shooting at the rim, despite going from 75% of his rim shots being assisted to 70%. So they're harder, more self-created shots, and he's shooting better now. And part of that is the offensive system is a lot better. Like I said, the spacing that Kenny Atkinson has created by placing him in better positions for him to succeed makes a big difference in what they were doing last year with JB Bickerstaff. But also, I think Kenny's getting all the credit when a good part of it is also Evan just getting better at these things. Like a lot of times he's spaced out to the three-point line, and if he's not always shooting the three because he's still not a high-volume three-point shooter. He's not turning into Kevin Love and like opening things up that way. But he's catching the ball from the perimeter and going from three-point line to rim off the dribble so often in his own unique lumbering way, finishing over people, like I said, that he's making Kenny Atkinson's system work in large part because he's just gotten a lot better at that specific skill set.
Yes. And I think that like his improvement obviously is like one of the reasons why they are one of the best teams in the league. And I think about the Cavs, and one thing that I've learned about them, at least, and again, it's not even like in 2025, whatever, but I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there to where they might be 1B in terms of title contenders in my eyes.
Welcome to the winning team.
They might again. I'm getting there. I'm not sure. I think I still might pick Boston, but I'm thinking about them in a matchup with OKC because I'm expecting the Thunder to get out the West. And I'm like, for me, that's kind of a coin flip right now. And it's because
and that's all I asked for. That's all I asked for. And I was chastised. All I asked for was a coin flip. That's all I asked for.
And it's because of Evan Mobley, but it's also because of their depth and what their bench can do. And I'm saying all of this just to say that I love Ty Jerome. No, he's
a baller, bro.
I'm going this entire way just because I wanted to talk about Ty Jerome this week because he is a
woke up
hooper.
this morning and said I want to talk about Ty Jerome.
But no, you're right. And DeAndre Hunter has been fantastic for them as was expected in this much more specific role. As soon as that trade happened, people were like, that's gonna be a guy that when he can have his skill set focused in a smart, effective way, in a very specific role off the bench, he's going to be great. He has been. He came up huge for them in this game against Boston. They started off obviously down like 25 because they got blitzed in the first quarter, running that lineup of Darius Garland and Max Strus next to Donovan Mitchell. Just way too small. They were getting picked apart. They put DeAndre Hunter out there. They put someone big, one less easy target for Jason Tatum to pick at. What do you know? Everything came together, and they made an amazing comeback and won the game.
They got the anomaly up out of here.
They got him out of here. Shit was not looking anomalous. What's the opposite of an anomaly? A normality? Shit was looking mad normal. Regular. But no, again, I said this not all year, but the past month and a half, and I've been chastised by you guys, chastised by the comments. The Cavs are currently better than the Boston Celtics, obviously. Now, but with that being said, the Celtics have key advantages over them. Like I said, it's easy to attack Darius Garland's defense when you have Jason Tatum. So they have specific matchups that the Boston Celtics have a good chance of still beating the Cavs in a playoff setting. But over the course of regular season, this team is clearly playing on a higher level than them. And to me, that makes it a coin flip because even if you think the Celtics have matchup advantages that make them the favorites to you, that's fair. There's a certain level of respect you got to play to how well the team is performing and how much better they are top to bottom, at least with the current Celtics health when KP is up in the air, Drew Holiday's had an off season, Jaylen Brown's been in a godforsaken slump. With all those things considered, the Cavs are, if it wasn't for the OKC Thunder, we'd be talking about them as the best team in the league.
Yes.
Yeah, I 110% agree. I 100% agree. If the Cleveland Cavaliers were to face the Boston Celtics with a healthy Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, I think outcomes, of course, be a little bit different probably. But needless to say, I think you're right. I would agree that it's, as of right now, it's 100% a coin flip. Even if KP and Drew Holiday hops back in the lineup, because we don't know what those guys will be able to give them. And for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're a proven concept time and time again, and no one should doubt them.
Yeah. Again, and they might not win, right? They are facing a team that's a defending champ for a reason, that is still insanely talented. Their system gives them an incredibly high floor. It's not a sure thing. Like you said, Donovan, that shit, it feels like a coin flip right now.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. I want to go to my first team.
Okay.
We're going to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
This is not a fun one. Let's shift this conversation a little bit.
But
What have you learned?
I'm going very, very big picture with them. I think that we've once again learned how important development and culture is. Because I think a lot of times whenever we talk about development, we talk about players going from year 1 to year 2 or year 2 to year 3 and very, very early in their careers. The Grizzlies, not only do they do that in terms of like finding guys that nobody else does and then they make them rotation players and they're good rotation players. Jaren Jackson Jr. and his development as well at this point in his career, like normally whenever guys get to, this stage in their NBA career, you don't really think of it as, oh, the team is still helping him develop. It's like, oh yeah, he just went out and got better. But the Grizzlies have put him in a position to where, and part of that is just, them asking him to get better. But because of Ja Morant's, whatever, and like they have needed Jaren Jackson Jr. to develop, and they have put him in situations where they're giving him more responsibility offensively, and he has answered the call. And so I think that having that infrastructure to where in an offseason, when you know that you're getting Ja Morant back, the Grizzlies still said, hey, we need Jaren Jackson Jr. to develop even more. We're going to change this entire offense. Everybody still buys in. We have all these role players that we need to do. Everybody's still going to buy in. And now Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing, the best basketball of his career. Obviously, he's hurt right now. But I think like in this season specifically, looking at the way that Memphis does business is a really, really good template for guys who are no longer like, rising stars, whatever. They are legitimate all-stars, but you can still develop those guys and still help guys make the leap.
That's a good point. Who do you think is the next player you want to see in that position where they're a low-level all-star that's going to make it some years, not make it other years, and you feel like with the right mind, right coach, putting the right prioritization to them, that they can make a next leap to being like all-NBA level? That's what Jaren is. Jaren's going to be all-NBA this year.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Whew, that's scary, man. Not scary because he deserves it, but it's like, damn, he's gonna be paid a bag, bro. I think the next player who's in the same fold is probably gonna be Franz Wagner. I think he sticks out like a sore thumb.
Good answer.
Yeah, he sticks out like a goddamn sore thumb. Like I think as time goes on, things will shift for the Orlando Magic, and if something happens again to Paul, I don't know. Like Franz is definitely gonna be doing a lot of the same things that we saw earlier this season before Paulo came back into the scene.
Yeah.
That's a good answer for sure.
I think Scotty Barnes is another guy where
amazing answer.
Yeah, we're like it's clear, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit more when we talk about the Raptors, but like it's clear that Scotty's not like 1A, put the ball in his hands, he's gonna create for everybody else, but he still is obviously so talented and has a lot of like very like high level physical traits that if you put him in the right system, you get some complementary players. You can see the flashes that we were talking about with Scotty Barnes like a year and a half ago, where it's like, oh wow, like he's a top 30 player. He's doing all this. Scotty Barnes still has all the tools to where he could be a very, very good NBA player, but obviously the Raptors just aren't in that position. You start making some changes around there, he can elevate to a very, very high level again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, shout out the Grizzlies and shout out them being the poster boy for prioritization of talents, for putting players in the right position to succeed. I'm glad you went there because if we talked about how they're currently playing, shit would not be pretty. But we'll just ignore that. We'll ignore them being 3-8 over the last 11 games. We'll ignore them being 27th in defense and 13th in offense. We'll ignore their 20th offense in crunch time and the fact they keep losing game winners. We'll put that all aside and just focus on the big picture.
We're trying to be positive, man. Overall coverage of the league is so negative, right? We got to be positive. I'm trying to hype up the faces of the league. That's what I'm trying to do.
Shout out Jared Jackson Jr. Fantastic year. But what's your next team?
Face of the league, Jared Jackson Jr.
Oh, what has happened to this league? Oh, man. Okay, so let's stay out over there in the Western Conference. I want to touch on the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay.
One thing that I learned is that, goddamn, Zion Williamson is still that dude no matter what, bro. I could touch on like a few other interesting things, like legitimately, like a lot of people are not talking about Trey Murphy and how insane the leap that he's been taking over the last year and a half or whatever. Man, we've been slurping Trey Murphy for
months. Slurp Zion Williamson. Let it out. Keep going.
Brother, the stats that Zion Williamson has been providing us over the last, 15 to 16 games or whatever is absurd. In like 26, 27 minutes of play, he's putting up like 26, 8 and 5 or something ridiculous. And his efficiency is out of this world at like 64, 65. I think it's like 63% from the field. He's been balling out of his mind. And to see him play at this rate with such limited minutes, well, not such limited minutes, but 27 minutes of play for a superstar is not that much still.
Yeah.
It's absurd to me, and it genuinely still like breaks my mind, but also, again, makes me sad because it's like, damn, bro, this season is at a loss. But over the past month, he's reminded me that, like, yeah, like he's still that dude when he's 100% healthy, and there should be like no doubts about him as a talent.
Agreed. This is why I keep saying, I've been saying all year, I will not put down the Zion Cup no matter how much you yell at me. I will never give up on him.
Yeah, like it's a drug. What do you mean the Zion Cup?
It feels like it is sometimes because it's just, there's a Zion
drug.
cycle.
It's a drug. Every 360 is a bump of coke. Like every dunk that he does brings you right back in.
It feels the cycle is undefeated. He goes through the cycle every year where he has this 10 to 15 game stretch where you're like, oh, this is one of the 10 to 15 most talented players in the NBA. This is Shaquille O'Neal crunched into a 6'6" body with all the same power put forward in a different type of way. In these last 10 games, 27.5 points, 67% true shooting. He is utterly dominant. And I'm trying to stop myself from getting too excited because this happens literally every year. He gets healthy and gets in shape, goes berserk, and then gets hurt. And we're like, fuck, the cycle repeats itself. But right now we're in the up. We're in the apex of the up and down. And it feels great. And you said this season is lost, blah, blah, blah. Correct. For me, it's not lost. For me, this is exactly what I want to see for the whole year. I just want to see 40 straight games of Zion going ape shit and carrying the momentum forward. He's the lightest he's ever been, reportedly. He's like 260 right now or something like that.
He looks yoked.
Dude, he looks insane.
Look, he looks like he crushed a watermelon, bro, with his hands.
He looks nuts. So, like, if we can get a healthy Zion for 40 games or whatever's left in this year, that would make it like 38 or whatever if he finishes out this way. Staying in shape, staying fully engaged, fully dominant, that means something to me. Maybe it'll fuck with the ping pong balls a little bit. I hope not, because I want them to see them get a top 3 pick. It means a lot to me. We need to see extended periods of dominance to make us as fans, the organization, the media, everybody feel like they can rely on Zion to perform on a consistent level and to be there consistently and like not break our hearts every year. That means more to me than anything in the goddamn NBA right now. I need to see this for at least 20 more games.
Last year, this Zion Williamson looks completely different from last year because this Pelicans offense has changed. Obviously, like shit, this is literally not the same because so many players have been in and out and whatnot. But last year, they're obviously one of the better teams in the Western Conference. But Zion Williamson had a usage rate of 28th last year, and so far this season, he's up to all the way 6th in the entire NBA. And so it's clear as day, like he's been fully empowered. Of course, it's easy to be number 6 when you don't have no one to play around. But needless to say, when the ball's been in his hands, he has been leading them with such power and force. And if I'm someone like their head coach, this should remind you to like, okay, like next time, when the next opportunity, next scene that you get, when you have all your talented players around you, who knows what's going to happen with his on Timber with the torn Achilles. But the offense needs to be centered and catered towards him because he's a generational talent.
Yes.
This is something that Pelicans fans are talking about a lot. They're saying it obviously everything feels and flows a million times better right now with Zion Williamson and Trey Murphy being the focal points. They actually complement each other, don't step on each other's toes. You mentioned that usage rate thing. That is a Brandon Ingram stat. That's what that is. He is gone. The second person next to Zion fits him off ball now, which isn't a slight to Brandon Ingram. They just didn't fucking fit. We all knew it for a long time. And this game that's on the screen right now was Pelicans versus Lakers. Watching that game, offense felt so good. The problem is their defense is absolutely horrendous right now because they don't have Herb Jones and they have a rookie big man and Kelly Olynyk at the 4. Defense was pitiful. Luka was picking them apart. He looked like vintage Luka because their defense is so bad. Assuming that's not the case next year, and assuming Herb Jones is back and a either second-year leap for Missy or a different center is starting, this is going to be a very good team again very fast. Their depth is going to be ridiculous. They're going to add in like Ace Bailey or some shit to the bench. It's going to be ridiculous. I feel very hopeful, and I think if Pelicans fans exist in our audience right now, they should feel very hopeful going into next year.
I gotta wait to believe. I gotta wait.
I understand.
I gotta wait. I gotta wait to believe. I just can't. I can't do it again. I can't live like this, man.
That's
I understand.
fair.
Like I said, it is a cup. He is a cup, and sometimes you're dizzy and you can't wake up in the middle of the day because you're just down bad with the side effects. So I understand.
Donovan, I think he has some real issues that he's like admitting right now because this is like too much of a vivid
probably.
picture.
What's in that cup right there? What's in that cup?
Exactly. Show us right now.
I don't know. That's Lil Wayne. But no, there's always the looming downside because we've seen this movie before, and the haters in the comments will be like, yeah, blah 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 blah. I'm not getting my hopes up. He's still him. He still can't be relied upon. I get it. I understand. I can't even say you're being negative anymore. I'm always quick to say you guys are being dumb and negative and stop hating. I can't say it this time. I understand. There's very, very real, proven scientific reasons to feel like this might end poorly again. So I get it. But motherfucker, I'm choosing to believe.
When it's happening, it's cool as fuck. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I'm going to enjoy every game of it I can get because I don't know how much longer I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who's next?
Okay. So I didn't start with the Lakers.
Goddamn. I shouldn't have asked
Think
that.
I should put them second? You think we should go just get into it?
I'm not going to talk about the Lakers. We've talked about the Lakers so
We have talked about them a lot.
much.
We have. We talked about them so much. We talked about it on stream a lot this past week. It was actually a really good conversation. And so I don't got to beat a dead horse. The Lakers are extremely good again. Luka and LeBron work, all the stuff that everyone's talking about, right? The main thing I've learned in 2025 that actively I've learned in this year alone, not anything prior, JJ Redick is an elite coach.
Yes.
That's the part that I think is undeniable to me. Whatever number you want to put it at, whatever you view as elite, I think there's fluctuation in coaches that most people don't really update their understanding of who coaches are year by year. You kind of carry the reputation for a while. Whatever the number is for you that makes somebody elite, JJ Redick is in that. We can call it top 10. He's in the top third of the league at least of coaches. This is just simply, when he was in the media, he was one of the smartest minds. When he was a player, I'm sure you felt that in the locker room if you played with him. People talked about that a lot whenever he joined the media, that it made sense that he'd be good at this. That is translated immediately as a coach, especially coming off of a person who came off watching Darvin Ham coach the team, who I defended at times because there was some ups and downs, and the downs were really highlighted. Towards the end, it was nothing but downs, and it was really ugly because the going got rough, and he did not have the consistent, clear, adaptability in his system, but just being the smartest guy in the room and making shit work. It feels like I'm watching a different sport, watching a team that plays under JJ Redick.
Man. Yeah, man. Who would have known? Who would have thought a team with a backline of, or with a front line of Luka and Austin Reeves, and I guess LeBron in that instance too, would form one of the better defenses in the NBA. Austin Reeves hasn't been here, but still, they were still fucking great with him on the defensive side of the court. No one on this goddamn planet would believe that. Since this trade, they've been one of the best teams in the NBA. They are consistently raising the bar higher and higher and higher. For me personally, when it comes to how I view them in the light of a contender, I have bars in my head, but I will not release them until the time has come, and it's not the end of the season yet. But I am just getting closer and closer. I will say that.
Yeah. The past 2 streams and 2 episodes, I keep referencing that I'm waiting for this bad defense to come about. Everyone keeps telling me about it, keeps telling me it's fake. I keep checking the last 15 games, defensive ratings. What do you know? They're still number 1. They have been for quite a while. It's 3 weeks straight of them being number 1 every time I check last 15 games. It's just an extremely smart defensive team. It's a good, bought-in organization. I mean, team. I don't want to say organization's good because I don't know how I feel about the upper management. But from the coaching staff and players, there's so much buy-in. There's so much effort. It feels like I'm watching an Eric Spoelstra defense that finds a way to get out the mud no matter who's out there because their coach is incredibly smart and has good game plans, and the players all buy into his vision. It feels exactly the same as that.
That's true. I'm Lakered out. I need like a week off. real quick.
Lakered out.
but all the JJ stuff is right, and I think like basically every time that people call a coach elite, it's based off of one or two things. One is either I thought your team was going to be trash, and you guys actually aren't trash. So like, shout out to you. And then it's also the very clear like in a playoff series where they'll have a good playoff run, and you can see the changes and you can see the adaptability. Obviously, we haven't gotten to that point with the Lakers yet because the season's not over. But we've talked so much about every 15-game stretch or every 10-game stretch being different for the Lakers because JJ has tried different things and the Lakers have continued to evolve, who they are. And now, obviously, everything changes whenever you get Luka, and you are able to be a much better team. But yes, like he's done great. So shout out to the Lakers, I guess.
Yeah, you don't even gotta shout out the Lakers today. Just shout out JJ. That's why we're making it specific today. We've talked a lot about why the team is good.
Facts.
It's not a given. I've said a lot that I think people were being just lazy as fuck when they were talking about the LeBron and Luka pairing when they were doing there's only one ball shit. That was dumb.
Tired argument.
But it's not a given that it works so fast. It would have been understandable if there was a period where they struggled and lost some games because they were adjusting, right? And there was some of that for Luka specifically, but on a team level, they didn't miss a goddamn step. They didn't go through a prolonged period of struggling whatsoever after the trade. Even before Luka debuted and they were playing without Anthony Davis and without Luka, they were still continuing the momentum they had before the trade and playing really well. That's a JJ Redick testament to me, that he figured out how to make it work immediately. And even other great coaches, that's not always a given.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, one thing I can say is that when I watch the Lakers on any given night, it seems like now compared to the last 20, 30 games before the Luka Doncic trade, they play such a serious brand of basketball. They don't bullshit. They try fucking hard, bro. They don't bullshit themselves. On the defensive end especially, it feels like JJ Redick has like injected also like his insane like you need to be 110%, 110% of the fucking time. Don't give up a cubic square inch of fucking space on the goddamn court. Like that is there when I see guys like Rui Hachimura when he's been healthy. Go ahead and like do certain things on closeouts. So I'm just like, oh shit, like he's kind of here. And then you obviously see the stuff that Vando does. He's fucking Vanderbilt. He's there 15 minutes, 20 minutes a night to wreak havoc and foul the shit out of guys here and there. And LeBron is LeBron as well. Seeing his like intensity go at the highest you've seen in quite a while, it's insane. And JJ Redick deserves all the props. And do you think there's a world in which he wins Coach of the Year?
No.
A world, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends how the season ends. But there's some strong candidates. Like I feel like it's probably Kenny Atkinson's award. He probably should win it. There'll be a push. If you tell me he's a finalist, I won't be surprised at all.
Okay.
Yeah, winning's a lot. I would have it would probably be Kenny Atkinson, and then also JB Bickerstaff in Detroit would probably be kind of high up there with how like quickly Detroit has turned around and like how competent they are.
It's true. There was some shit.
They were not good last year.
But again, we're in unprecedented times, and this is an unprecedented move with unprecedented level of attention that the Lakers currently have. Like even for the Lakers, the NBA world is really revolving around Luka Doncic and the Lakers for obvious reasons, like as the aftermath of the crazy trade. Mm-hmm. So if you tell me that is carried over and that we get some clout boost to a JJ Redick Coach of the Year candidacy because he's maximized it so well, that wouldn't shock me. Like that wouldn't be the most shocking part of this whole ordeal.
This Saturday is going to be so fun because it's Lakers Celtics in Boston, right? Like if the Lakers come out and they have a statement game, you always see like towards the last like 20 games of a season, awards start to change because people have standout stuff. This could be a potential turning point for JJ to get Coach of the Year. If
the Lakers might get the 2 seed. They're currently the 2 seed, I think. Unless they change
they are
24 hours.
2 seed.
No, they are.
If they're the 2 seed after they're starting at the 7, they make a crazy trade, they don't miss anything, and they fully get the best out of Luka and LeBron, like, I'm saying it's a clout thing. That wouldn't be like undeserving of Coach of the Year. That's a really wild circumstance to navigate and get the most of and end up on top of the league besides OKC in your conference.
Yeah.
That's a deserving Coach of the Year candidacy.
I think when it comes to what the Coach of the Year award has traditionally meant, it's like from start 0 to game 82.
We thought you were going to be trash, and you weren't. Or you vastly outperformed expectations. That's the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like
he was a rookie head coach. Some people were saying you hired your podcaster. This guy's going to be.
They have 11 losses. They have 11 losses. Like it's probably going to be Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah. I agree.
No, it definitely is. We all know this.
Agree.
Yeah.
But in terms of exceeding expectations, like usually that's team based. JJ Redick is a rookie head coach doing this, and that I'm not saying that should play into it because like you don't get, but.
You're right. He can.
It's a narrative-based award.
He can be a finalist. But also like you got Luka Doncic mid-season, whereas the Cavs, we were talking about blowing them up last year, and you largely brought back the same group, and now you're doing all the things that you're doing. So I agree with you. All right, my next team.
What's your next team?
My next team, the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
Detroit basketball.
And I have learned that Asar Thompson needs to stay in the starting lineup because he is amazing at his job. And this Detroit Pistons team, listen, last 15 games, their defense is clicking, right? I don't care. I don't care what happened in the last game against the Clippers. I do not care. I did not see that.
Did I see James Harden dunk for the first time?
I did not see that.
Years?
I did not see that.
Did I see him do the nosebleed celebration?
But Asar Thompson. And now that he is in the starting lineup, and which he's been basically for like all of 2025, listen, dude. Like we saw it last year, and we saw how great he was defensively last year, and we were like, yo, this is one of like the best defensive rookies to ever come into the league. It's the same thing every single night. Like you can see him making an amazing defensive play, and it's so cool. Like the best defenders in the league. They all do a thing where like they can set up offensive players and like lure them into a trap to where they can go and get a steal, go get a block. And you see Asar do that so often. And so just watching Asar be back into the lineup, watching the Pistons push forward like this, it's been super, super fun. So yeah, Asar Thompson, shout out to you. Because I learned that once again, you are that guy defensively.
They're second in defensive rating last 15 games, like you said. They've been starting us off for 27 games. I can't see on NBA.com the last 27 games. Actually, I'll do it by days. I'll figure it out after I say the sentence.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably a pretty clear delineation between when they were an average defense to when they were good as fuck. It probably has to do with Asar playing more minutes. I feel it's like a pretty simple explanation for how things have gone so well. It's him. But also Jalen Duren. Shout out him. He's playing a lot better as of late on both sides of the ball. He still wasn't like scoring quite as much because there's, just not as many shots to go around with Cade being Cade this year.
Natural.
But he looks less clueless defensively. I think Pistons fans can talk to a little more specifically than I can for how much I've watched him as of late. But it feels like tangibly he's a little bit better on that end. He's talked a little bit about being more aggressive offensively and getting back to the scoring rate he was at before last year. Not quite back, but it's better. He went from like averaging 11 points to 13 in the span of like 2 weeks. And good momentum for him. Still has a lot of development to go, but it's a good sign.
Yes.
So many interesting things happening on that Pistons team at once, bro. Like they're so new and fresh, and there's obviously like we know Cade Cunningham. He arrived a third of the way into the season, like 40 games or so. It's like, yo, like this dude's a legit star. And then their rookie Ron Holland was like producing at a decent rate, and then you got the Malik Beasley's of the world like reviving his NBA career, whatever that means, being an actual staple. Dead, and then Tobias Harris just being useful out there again, bro. Who would have knew? Who would have thought? Like he's actually doing productive things. This is like the least amount of times you've ever mentioned Tobias Harris ever on this podcast this season, bro. No one talks about him anymore because there's nothing to talk about. He shut us up.
He's just consistent. He just is what it is. And to be fair, he was never ass. He was, it was disappointing for somebody making $40 million a year on the 76ers. They need a little more out of that salary spot that he wasn't giving them. But he was never a problem. He was never like a bad basketball player. he was just not the answer for what they needed,
put up, like,
and they had no other way outside of him.
I mean, no.
2 points, 3 points, bro.
You've
Like, closeout games. He was.
You've had bad performances.
Oh, of course, he's not perfect. I'm not saying he's
in high leverage moments.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's infallible, but he was talked about as being bottom of the barrel shit at points by 76ers fans. But that was about how much he was paid. Now he's paid less money, less expectations, less high of a pressure cooker like he was playing with the 76ers. He's a good player that shouldn't be paid $40 million a year, but you pay him a little more adequately. It feels like he's getting about right.
Yeah.
He's Tobias Harris, and he's doing his thing, bro.
Yeah, shout out. All right, what's your next team, Mo?
The next team I want to talk about is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are also one of the more interesting teams in the NBA with a whole lot of shit going on. They started off earlier in the season, pretty disappointing. We were obviously they're fresh off the Karl Anthony Towns trade, and everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck's happening? Why'd you guys do that? Blah blah." No one cares anymore, and we've all accepted reality. Now, through that reality, there's been a whole lot of ups and downs within the starting lineup of this team. As of late, Rudy Gobert's been out since I think like midway point of February, and Dante DiVincenzo's finally coming back. And since he's came back, he's been hooping his ass off, shooting as efficiently as ever this season over the last 3-4 games since he's been back. But something that's like been even more interesting to me, and that's just like it's a massive deal to this team and what they are and the ceilings limitations that they have, especially cap-wise too, since they're a second apron team, is the emergence of Jaden McDaniels. Let me put out this iPad. Over the last 9 games that he's played, this dude's been averaging 20 points, my bad, and shooting 50% from the field, bro. Don't look at his 3-point percentage. It's not there yet. He's only
26.
4 or 5 a game.
Now think about how efficient you have to be to shoot 26% from 3 and still shoot 50% from the field. That's amazing.
62% from 2. That is impressive. And yeah, this is the scoring lead that we wanted to see for a long time, and he didn't make. Again, it's only 9 games. A lot of mid-season scoring leads like this. We call it the Jalen Green effect. So we'll see if it's real, but extremely encouraging from somebody they need to be playing super well going into the playoffs.
If this continues to be somewhat real, which I believe it is, that's an immense deal, because over the last, I believe, 30-ish games, he's been averaging 15 points on 50% shooting from the field and 35% shooting from the 3-point line. That is a leap. That is the money that he's been tied. That is not 100% worth maybe the money he's been tied to, but you see his performances and it's like, okay, it lines up, and I see like the constant elevation in his game alongside the Nas Reeds of the world and especially Anthony Edwards of the world. And since January, I see that they've been, I believe, a top 6 offense and top 6 defense since January 1st specifically, which is good. Now, one of the main things that's holding this team back, to me personally, when it comes to how serious I can take them in the playoffs, because right now I think they're on the 7th seed maybe or so in the Western Conference. No, they're the 9th seed. That's insane. They're the 9th seed.
It fluctuates a lot right now. They were 7th like a couple of days ago.
Yeah. I think something that...
No, they're 7th right now.
Okay, cool. My NBA app is just tripping right now. Something that's holding me back from like actually saying, yo, like they could literally like upset a team, is seeing the intensity in which they play out from night to night. They get their ass beat on the boards for no reason. It doesn't make any sense because generally they're like one of the bigger teams in the entire NBA with the Julius Randles of the world. Rudy Gobert's been out, which absolutely sucks and it hurts. But even with Rudy Gobert on that team too, he's having a down rebounding year. And overall, they're just like not a great rebounding team for whatever reason it is. I think that's purely effort and intensity and how serious of a basketball team you are. And I guess that's a Chris Finch thing or whatever. But if they can fix that one issue, and if Jaden McDaniels can consistently keep up this slight uptick of scoring, things are changing for this team. And they can upset someone in the playoffs.
Okay.
There you go. And yeah, I mean, having Julius Randle hack certainly helps with the rebounding factor. Getting him and Gobert back both together will certainly help. A big part why they were so good rebounding last year. You had 2 7-footers out there, 2 great rebounders. Hasn't been the case. Nas Reed isn't an amazing rebounder by any means. So they're 8-0 in their last game with Julius Randle, by the way. A lot has been made about him not being a good fit. It's better to have him than to not, even though sometimes it feels like it might not be the case. As of late, they're winning with him there. They're finding ways to be good. He's not fitting out like a sore thumb anymore. So Yeah, I'm excited to see how they look when they're whole. I hope they get to the 6 seed at least, because if they have to face the Lakers, the Thunder, not looking forward to that for them. But if they can get to that 3 seed and face, the Nuggets again or the Grizzlies, like, it could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know who to take if they face the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm having an easy conversation when it comes to the Nuggets. Well, I don't even know if I can say that, but when it comes to the Grizzlies, I think they could actually like look them in the eyes and make something happen in the first round. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about the Nuggets real quick, since they're my next team. Let's jump to that topic real quick, because this one is very fast. I don't have a ton of insight to give you. I don't have a ton of numbers to give you. I don't even want to talk about them for more than 5 minutes. I have learned in 2025 the Nuggets just simply are not good enough to do anything of note this year. They are not good enough to be an upper tier contender. They have a talent deficiency that is too much to overcome, even with Nikola Jokic playing better than he ever has offensively and having one of the single most impressive offensive peaks in NBA history. It just does not matter. They don't have the bench depth talent-wise. They don't even have the starters talent-wise to be good enough to make up for the bench that they used to with KCP being gone. There's just stretches of the year where Russ plays extremely well and gave them the boost they needed. It hasn't been the case as of late consistently, but he was kind of given more than expected, so it's okay. There's up and downs. Christian Brown is very good. Isn't the defender KCP once was, which we're seeing game by game, is the important part of KCP. The offense didn't matter that much, but the defense was a huge deal for helping Nikola Jokic be a good enough defender to survive because he had that point of attack defensive guy to fight over screens. Without that, their defense has no chance of being top 10 at any point in the year, I don't think. And they don't have the offensive firepower after JJ Redick gave the league a blueprint on how to double team him, fronting him in the post, and really cut off the passing lanes to Jokic because they have enough bad shooters you can sag off. Everybody's doing that now. In the last 5 games have been hell every single night for Nikola Jokic. He's getting frustrated, and I just don't think there's an answer in season. I think they're just going to be a first or second round out, and it's going to be what it is.
Calvin Booth, this is your fault. This is on you.
Yeah. You're not seeing the pearly gates right now in the NBA world. It's not great for you.
Yeah.
But one of the most insane things that I've seen in the entirety of NBA history is seeing a GM hop on that stage, that podium, and be like, yeah, we tried to trade this guy, but there were no suitors. He just outed the fuck out of Zeke and Najee. It's hilarious.
That was insane. Yeah. That was so unprofessional and just fucking idiotic. I love honesty usually. I hate Calvin Booth. I would hate rooting for him on my team. That guy does not seem like he has the most thoughts upstairs when he jumps in front of a mic. I would hate rooting for him. I hate that guy. But let me double up right now, because there's another team that I feel this way about that's in the same boat. The Houston Rockets. I can also confirm that I've learned this year they don't have enough firepower. Very similar situation to the Denver Nuggets. Different construction roster-wise, but the same outcome. They are a good team that's really faltering as of late, and we're judging them at their lowest, so I do expect some bounce back to some degree, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But they're 5-10 in their last 15 games. 13th in defense in that time, 25th in offense. The 25th in offense kind of is what it is, been that way most of the year. They're currently 13th in defense, and I think a big part of that can be tied down to the fact that they lost Jabari Smith for a long time, who just came back and is playing off the bench now for Amen Thompson, who we're the biggest Amen Thompson fans in the world. We want him to start long term. I think now he shouldn't start at the expense of Jabari Smith. They got to find a way to have both of them in the lineup, I think, because Jabari Smith is incredibly important for their defense. I've thought he's underrated defensively all year. Having that big forward next to Sengun is, I think, a big part of what's made Sengun so good defensively this year and not a problem at all. That duo makes all the sense in the world together. And if they're not going to have the top 3 defense they had to start the year, they're damn sure not going to have an offensive surge. And again, their defense will bounce back to some degree, I'm sure. But they're winning off of offensive rebounding and crazy grit early in the year. Mm-hmm. We didn't think it was a winning formula then when it was at its peak. Now that we're seeing a little downturn, it just feels like good jump this year from a non-contending team to being a playoff team. You were ahead of schedule regardless. They still obviously got to find a way to inject some more talent into that team. Yeah, I think something that you see a lot where one team has either very, very good offensively or very, very good defensively, and that's kind of the thing that they hang their hat on. You have a very, very small margin for error when you have a quote unquote superpower. Like the Celtics and the Cavs and the Thunder, like, yes, they are top 5, top 10 defensively. They're also the same thing on the other side, right? And that's why they're like inner circle. But if you have a number 1 defense and bottom 10 offense, you cannot fall to you don't have the room to fall to like a top 6 defense. You have to stay in that top 5, top 3 area. So that's something that with the Rockets you've seen all year, on top of the fact
of like, their youth, on top of the fact that the veterans that they brought in, Fred VanVleet hasn't, been amazing this season. Like, there's been a lot of things contributing to them, not necessarily being championship contenders. They've taken a lot of steps forward, but again, like, you have to be at your tip top if that's going to be how you play basketball.
Exactly. Everybody has slumps. It's part of the NBA season. When you're a team built like this, you can't have slumps. You have to be the outlier. You have to be an anomaly. You have to be different. You have to be different in every way. You can't fall off at all.
He's spitting.
And again, mad regular. There's no anomaly in sight.
Yeah. True. Okay, I'm gonna double up on my next two because I think that they kind of go together.
All right, we double dipping. Let's do it.
Yeah, so we're talking about the 76ers and
I love double penetration.
And the Phoenix Suns. That is not what I said.
What's going on?
Anyways, so with these two teams, you learned the Big Three era is over, right? Like the Suns, they went out and they acquired Kevin Durant, they acquired Bradley Beal, and they said, we have one in-house star. We're gonna go get the other two. It's not working. This team is going to blow up in the offseason. Kevin Durant is going to get traded. They got swept. They might not win a playoff game across their 2 years being together.
That's insane.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Right.
Game.
You have Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. You might not get a singular playoff game, which is wild. And that thing has gone, completely to it's been all right. The Sixers, same way. You had Embiid. Obviously, his health stuff changes everything. But even if Embiid was healthy, you paid Paul George $200 million, and he's having the worst year of his career. You would be in the same situation as you were last year, where you have a $40 million player underperforming. And so you probably would not, like, they would have been obviously better than what they are right now, but you're not getting to a championship ceiling if you have $40 million in a player who's not giving you $40 million worth of production. And so I think that for both of those teams, you have to look at yourself this offseason and think about your future and think about your trajectory, because the current eras that you're in that involve big threes, they're done. And so I'm lumping them together.
I think the main takeaway from these two teams is you can't cheat fate. Mm-hmm. The Grim Reaper will come. Mm-hmm. You trade all your picks, you go asset poor for Bradley Beal in a fit that doesn't make sense. Bill's going to be due. You get all the time you can out of Joel Embiid, but that needs a ticking time bomb. Bill's going to be due. Mm-hmm. And Bills are due right now, and they're going to be feeling the effects of that for the next 5 years. Both the teams are in a terrible situation long term.
Exactly.
Let me add one more team on this. We'll just go to the trifecta of awfulness.
Okay, go ahead.
My takeaway for the Dallas Mavericks is very similar. My takeaway is God hates Texas. My takeaway is nothing is good in Dallas, that whoever is involved in the wrongdoings you have done as an organization is paying the karmic debt that you owe them, and the fan base is all the worse for it. Nothing is going good for the Mavericks. We talked about the Sixers and we talked about the Suns as having the bill being due now for the decisions they made leading up to it. The Dallas Mavericks, they started this bill a month ago, and here we are. It's being paid. You traded Luka Doncic.
They're in debt. They're in debt forever. There's no bill that's going to be due. They just every month just payment after payment after payment.
To just every time they open their eyes, they take a step outside. Tony Soprano and Paulie are sitting there with monkey wrenches, ready to break their goddamn knees, and they're never going to stop. You're never going to walk again. You're going to lose your fucking core fans because you disrespect them by trading Luka Doncic and then going to war with them after the backlash you reasonably deserved.
And
you don't show them on the Jumbotron. You do all this crazy stuff and you make your fans hate you.
Didn't they raise the ticket prices too by 8%?
8% on season tickets, which is obviously hilarious timing. And then, they get super unlucky with the Kyrie Irving injury, which you talked about on stream. Just clip up on the channel right now. Shout out Kyrie. We hope he's okay. It just goes to show the situation they're in. They're feeling the pain of this way more than they would if they didn't trade Luka Doncic. So even though it's not his fault, Kyrie tore his ACL, the Kyrie Irving unluckiness is making Nico Harrison pay the Pied Piper. The future is horrible for the Mavericks. Nothing is going to be good for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
It's absolutely atrocious, Bo, because when you sit down and look at the Dallas Mavericks pick situation over the next few years, it's very bleak. Like, of course, this year they have their own cahoots to them. That's great. And then next year as well, they have their own. But considering how old a lot of these guys are and seeing all the outgoing picks that they do have, it's kind of sad and it's getting a little bit scary.
Yeah. it's not a fun time. I actually, if you want to see more thoughts about this, in 2 minutes from when we're recording this, an episode of Project 94 is going up where we cover in depth the horrible situation of the Dallas Mavericks. So you can go there, you can go on our channel, watch the clip to see us talk more in depth about it a few days ago. Not much left to say on the matter. If you're a Mavericks fan, tough.
All right. Speaking of tough, I want to get an ounce of depression out of my system too. The Orlando Magic. Oh my God, things have been so bleak over there, bro.
My people
had so much hope for them this year. I had so much belief in guys like Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr.'s of the world, and their whole recipe and just like cookbook of how to fry the NBA in the most like unique style possible. Now they still do play a unique style. To me, I think they play like 2005 basketball. Spacing is absolutely trash.
What makes it so unique? What makes it unique and not just bad?
There's quite a few things that makes it unique. But
not being able to shoot, that's unique.
Specifically, it's seeing how Paolo Banchero is able to get his buckets in just a unique ways, brute force, all that shit. Seeing him be second in the entire NBA since the All-Star break in points per game, putting up like 30. He's in Shea, Luka, Giannis conversations. It's insane, but your team is still is like complete shit. And on top of that too, I just seen you lost to the Toronto Raptors, like back to back.
He had 40 and they lost.
Check the stat line.
He had 40 and they lost.
I love it. And I'm also like very aware, like, yo, you are shit out of luck when it comes to the Jalen Suggs situation, because news came out a couple of days ago that he's out for the entirety of the year. That just blows every ounce of hope that every single Orlando Magic fan had when it comes to resurrecting this season or even making a little bit of noise during the playoffs. The entire cookbook for this team needs to be reworked and revamped. And this Paulo and Franz thing too, it just needs further evaluation. But I've learned this season's completely over.
What we've learned is that we were right about this team. Is that what we said all summer is they need to go out and get a shot-making point guard to alleviate pressure and not force Paolo Banchero to be the point forward and do all the creation for himself. Yeah, correct. It would be real nice if they had an Anthony Simons, even just like a Jordan Clarkson, someone cheaper and easier to get who can be someone that can create their own shot and shoot off ball. That is vital. And obviously we're judging them after they lose Jalen Suggs, who in some part was supposed to be that guy with his development offensively. Sucks to lose him and to lose your top-tier defense hopes in losing him. So caveat, we understand that makes it worse. Even when he was there, you still felt some of that. Like, they need more offensive juice, clearly. And again, we like Franz a lot. We think he should be more of the playmaker for those two. And we like the long-term ceiling of Paolo Banchero as a go-to scorer. If the playmaking can be, allocated in the right way between him and Franz, they need more offensively. It is so clear. And they try to get KCP to fix that. Sucks he hasn't been the answer there. That's unfortunate when we all expected him to help in some regard. But I think at least us up here said it when that happened, that he's not going to be the answer to fix it overnight. Even if you got good KCP shooting, they didn't just need spot-up shooters. They need dynamic creators that can do a little bit with the ball in their hands as well as just shoot open shots.
This team is fried, man. Their GM has a lot of questions and making up of ground to pay for these Orlando Magic fans, because these moves should have been made during the offseason. You're right. These moves should have been made during the trade deadline. He just continuously sat on his hands and just was like, well, fuck it. Ball up. Paulo.
And their last couple of drafts haven't been that good either. And that's been big, that they've missed on some key draft picks that at this point in your rebuild, you need those guys to be pretty useful. Like, they're not getting anything from Jed Howard. And there's some other guys that we don't got to single out that aren't providing them a lot in recent draft years. And that would have been how you make this all work, by getting something out of those picks. And with those being zeros, and with you using your cap space to sign KCP and bring back your own guys, which were really all big men, you just kind of missed a window you had to really make something happen.
Yeah. Okay. I won't say that. I won't say they missed the window.
I don't mean for being a good team. I mean, in this past summer, if they hit those draft picks and use that money better, they could have ducked all this by fixing those solutions. Like, they had the opportunity to fix a lot of these issues. That was the window. Not to say the window's fucked, like they're never going to be good.
Okay,
but the window to be a lot better and not have these issues be a thing. You had a summer where you could have fixed a lot of this if you did the right thing.
They definitely slowed down their own progression and stunted their growth easily.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sucks. Oh, man,
But again, not to say the marathon's over. It's still, you have a long timeline ahead of you with Paolo and Franz Wagner.
It does.
Nevertheless, you're not fucked. People think I hate this organization. I want them to be bad forever. They're going to be good eventually. It's just taking longer than it should.
True. Okay.
I agree.
All right,
I'm
gonna double up on my next two because it kind of goes a little bit hand in hand in terms of what Isaac just said in terms of missing on some draft picks. And the Utah Jazz and the Toronto Raptors, they need Cooper Flag. So
that's your takeaway?
They need no. Like, okay, so some other teams, if you got the number one pick, yeah, it'll be nice. These two teams need Cooper Flag. They need a guy.
I think Utah needs him more.
No, the Jazz specifically, right? I think because, like we said earlier, I think that Scotty Barnes can still develop into being a very, very talented and good player, right? Potentially like have an all-NBA type season, but he has to be in the perfect situation, and he's never going to be your 1A. I don't think that Scotty Barnes is going to be like your franchise guy. I think that for them, Cooper Flag can potentially be that. And you just traded for Brandon Ingram. We are yet to see how like that fit works long term. Let's get Cooper Flag in there. We're kind of unsure about Emmanuel Quickley. We're kind of unsure about RJ Barrett, Grady Dick. We will continue to see what we have. But I think that the Raptors, if they get Cooper Flag, you can springboard a lot of your development and you can get a guy in the building. The Jazz have nobody. Like if you go back and you look at the Jazz's last, 4 to 5 drafts, it has not gone well. And they, didn't have a lot of their picks, and some of the better picks that were made under the Jazz were going to other teams because they had traded those picks away. And even us, like on draft night, we thought that the Jazz had a good draft, right? They drafted Cody Williams. Hasn't really been there this year.
That man does cardio.
Exactly. Isaiah Collier.
That's when it hit though.
Can't shoot.
Can't shoot for shit.
Can't shoot.
A great playmaker. He is a dope ass playmaker.
And I will give him that. He cannot shoot the ball. Right.
I don't care. Collier's the one bright spot. We're gonna give him credit.
all the other guys, like Keontae George is playing. He's still very inefficient.
He stinks.
Like
he just stinks, bro.
Okay.
I sold it. I'm sorry.
See, I know why you feel the way because you were so high on him, so you feel defeated. I get it.
But if you go up and down the list, they don't, and even as good as Isaiah Collier has been because of his shooting, right now, I don't see Isaiah Collier as a franchise guy in terms of like 1A.
Definitely not.
Cooper Flag can be that. Those two teams need to be on their hands and knees praying, willing to give Adam Silver any amount of money to rig the draft to get them Cooper Flag. So they need him.
The Jazz, you're right. They are desolate in terms of top end talent. They need that guy. The Raptors, I'm not throwing into this group quite yet because I want to see them get Dylan Harper. That's what I want to see them get really bad.
Okay.
I really like the idea of Brandon Ingram there next to Scotty Barnes to be the main go-to scorer, to alleviate some of that responsibility off of Scotty Barnes and let him get in the right role he's never really been in. Or I guess he was when he played next to Siakam when he was at his best. He needs to be the second option so he can be the crazy Swiss Army knife, use his secondary passing, use his energy defensively, use his scoring as a release valve, attacking 4-on-3 situations off of the best offensive player, and really be like the Scottie Pippen he's meant to be. Dylan Harper is that point guard that can be the main off the dribble shooter, can be that guy, will fit really well with Brandon Ingram, really well with Scotty Barnes. I like that a lot. I kind of want, that's my main draft hope right now, is that we get to see Dylan Harper in Toronto.
And it might happen. Either way, I think that both of these teams could use a massive boost in the draft. So that's kind of my point for them.
Oh yeah. Let's stay on the topic things. I have a similar team that we can knock out real fast.
Yo, running them out, bro. Let's go do it.
Yeah, I got some shitters on my list. So let me just get these over with. My team on the similar regard, I have the Charlotte Hornets on my list. My takeaway from this season is I am done. I am done predicting them to make the play-in tournament when we do our preseason rankings. 2 years in a row, I put them in the 9 or 10 seed, and 2 years in a row, they've been one of the worst teams in the NBA. This team is just so much further away from being good than I thought. LaMelo Ball has been a bright spot. He is not bright enough to make up for all the garbage there, and he's not raising the floor. He's not the type of player. He can be maybe he'll prove to be a really good ceiling raiser when he's playing next to good stars, not good stars, good players, I'll say.
Functioning role players with ligaments and brains.
When he's in a regular environment that's not so bad, maybe he'll prove to be the guy that can take you next level. He's not the guy that's going to crawl you out of the mud and be the bright spot that you build the organization around in that way, which is fine. Not most people aren't, right? It's fine. Brandon Miller has been gone. And it looks like they lost prime Paul George, even though he's just a second-year player who's not even that efficient yet. He's a great long-term prospect. Like, we all think highly of what he can be. He's not super good yet. And the fact that he went out and they became the worst team in the goddamn league, the fact that we're trying to trade Mark Williams, trying to get off that life raft because they don't believe in him long-term, the fact that they just are clearly making moves that are trying to rid their hands of what the previous regime did because they have no faith in this core being anything of note. I feel like they're at stage one, even though they're 5 years into a rebuild, it feels like. And I'm next year when we do our preseason rankings, don't give a shit what they do in the summer. I'm going to predict them to be like the 12th best team in the conference at best.
You know what the Hornets need? You know what they need? You know the show where Gordon Ramsay goes and he like saves failing restaurants? Like
Kitchen Nightmares?
Yeah, like they need that. Like we need like Daryl Morey or Masai Ujiri just to spend like 1 year in Charlotte and be like, what are you doing? Like, why is this guy on your draft board? They need that for like a year and a half. And if they listen, you get that, you film it, you put it out on Netflix. NBA, I'm giving you game right now. Like I really am. This is how we make content.
Like Hard Knocks for terrible organizations. This
exactly.
feels like an NFL product where they send John Gruden into a struggling team to be like, what are you guys doing?
I would watch that. So yes.
What are you doing?
I'm feeling nicey.
It was John Green. He probably said the N-word after that.
Yeah. Nah. He doesn't say that. He's creative with it.
I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, he's like that Google guy. His name. You'll find some slurs.
He's a grinder.
Yeah,
I like it. Got me feeling nice.
On my hands. Let me not do that right now. All right, let me riddle off my next few teams. I think the next team that I'm kind of excited to talk about are the Milwaukee Bucks. And something that I would like to assume that we've all been wrong about, don't remember you two's standing point, is that, the Kyle Kuzma trade actually worked to a degree.
Hey, man, I'm getting ratioed on Twitter by Bucks fans every day. I had to mute the tweet. They're on my ass.
Brother, they could be on your ass for all reasons,
I'm going to go check it. I'm going to go check
understood because
no,
right
you're not
now,
gonna find
since
it.
the Kyle Kuzma trade happened, they have a record of 8-2.
You couldn't have tweeted about Kuzma that long.
It wasn't Kuzma. It wasn't Kuzma. I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't a Kuzma tweet. I tweeted after, I think it was the third game after the deadline. I turned on a game and I tweeted in the most passing thought. I tweeted, Giannis really has to set screens for Kevin Porter Jr. while Jericho Sims sets in the dunker spot. What did he do to deserve this? Because I meant that's a fucking disgusting lineup. Mm-hmm. It was gross. It was an ineffective lineup at the time when I was watching it. And the main thing I was getting at is that Kevin Porter Jr. sucks at basketball. Yeah. was the main point of the tweet because I think he's awful and an awful person. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys have seen, he has been an absolute bucket. He has been exactly what they need from a bench creator. And they are letting me hear it because I basically said he sucks. And I threw Jericho Sims in there because he was like making the lineup worse at the time. But I like Jericho Sims. He's been really big for their defense and their bench units to have like a backup center that can defend the rim a little bit. Didn't hate that. I hated the Kevin Porter thing because Kevin Porter has famously sucked for the past 4 years. But if getting around Giannis and Dame has given him the fountain of being good at basketball and he's going to continue to shoot 50% from mid-range, career high at the fucking rim, being a great playmaker, I'll take my L. I guess it was a great move. I saw a tweet that said the Bucks managed to sign 3 bad players and get better.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened.
Brother, the biggest L that we all have to eat is fucking the Kyle Kuzma.
I found it.
Oh, what is it? Expose it.
Yeah,
the tweet I'm talking about.
No, it's exactly what he said. But okay, I found it. Yeah. I'm gonna bookmark this. I'm gonna go back to it later.
Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But you're right. The Kuzma thing, I think we didn't like it because you're trading Chris Middleton, and something you pointed out a lot, Mo, was that they looked at their best in the few games he was healthy when they had that creation of him and had like a third ball handler who can create. And we were like, shout out Kuzma. We liked him 2 years ago, but this year he's been horrible. And even if you get the best version of him, what can be the big rebounding forwards you need, I don't like the fact that you don't have the ceiling anymore of having 3 good ball handlers you can create. I don't feel like that's the all-in move. That scared me. But you're right. They keep winning games, so fuck it. Apparently, this injection of youth and athleticism and the idea that you need this athletic forward next to Giannis, it's working. Shout out John
And
Horst. You're a genius.
Yeah, it is fair too.
It's more than working, bro. They've legitimately been like one of the 5 best teams in the NBA since the trade deadline, and all the things that Kyle Kuzma does on the court isn't necessarily highly talked about because he's shining those things like 4 or 5 years ago when he won a championship with the Lakers. The rebounding is fantastic, and I didn't realize how piss poor the Milwaukee Bucks were at that when it comes to finding other sources of just bigness on their roster outside of Giannis and Brook Lopez. And on top of that, too, when it comes to Kyle Kuzma, the threat of him being a shooter, again, he's not knocking that bitch down. He's shooting like 32%, but he has the respect of a shooter. And then on top of that as well, seeing what he does off ball and just continuously finding and figuring out ways to be useful when the ball isn't in your hands is such an important and underrated skill, and it gives him so much more juice in a different way than we're used to seeing with Chris Middleton. It offers like off-ball playmaking, which a lot of dudes aren't necessarily capable of. And Kyle Kuzma obviously like harnessed that skill when he was back over there with guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis and all, and when he was forced to just do nothing but play off ball all day, every day. So seeing him in this trade come into fruition and just seeing them flourish with him is so shocking and is the biggest thing that I've learned so far in 2025.
I don't think it's shocking per se. Like it was never that Kyle Kuzma can't be. We all knew he'd be better than he was in the Wizards this year because he was in the worst situation, obviously. So like it was clear that you put the guy in a better position, he won't be taking as many heinous shots. That'll be better. So I'm not surprised with that part. Like I said, the biggest surprise is Kevin Porter Jr. shooting 58% from mid-range right now. But my only worry with Kuzma is that it'll be good for now. But
Brother,
I'm
he had a
in a playoff setting.
minor side piece, but Kevin Porter Jr., he got his triple-double just like 2 days ago or whatever.
Yeah.
He was the fastest player. He's like the 3rd or 4th fastest player in NBA history to receive a triple-double in like 19 minutes of play. It makes no sense.
Listen, if that's the hill I'm going to lose on this trade deadline, that I disrespected Kevin Porter Jr., I guess I'll take it. I guess I'll just be wrong. But the Kuzma thing, you're right. It's working as well as expected. My biggest concern was for a playoff setting. When they were at their best in 2021, it was because they had Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday as 2 creators off of Giannis to give you 2 release valves that can create off the dribble. We got to see if Kyle Kuzma can provide you that at all, because I think that's important. That it's not just Dame and Giannis. I think you really need that third creator. And hey, maybe it's Kevin Porter Jr., the mid-range aficionado. Maybe we'll see. But it needs to be Kuzma, I think. And that's not what they need from him. That's probably not what they want from him. But I feel like that's going to be something that is going to be important.
Yeah, everything changes in the playoffs, but also like I think obviously like we do this a lot with teams who have either like had long playoff runs before or had success, and like you go back to the best version of them and you try to like recreate what you had there. It's been 4 years since that, like the entire team has turned over. So yes, you've seen them win a championship with having Giannis and having these other pieces behind it, but a lot of things have changed. And so now you probably are going to have to figure out a different way to win. And that's not the only way to win around Giannis, especially with him being so good. And one of the things that we've said for honestly like the last 2 years is that just get somebody who can run fast and jump high in Milwaukee because they've needed athletes. And so they did address that situation. Did you have to give up some of the playmaking for Middleton? Of course. It's always like a give and take. But we were also up here, me specifically, saying, I don't think Chris Middleton's going to be there. So at least having...
You were right.
Exactly. So at least having another body to where you can give somebody minutes in the playoffs as opposed to Chris Middleton, who is going to be there for game 1, but might not be there for game 2. Like that's also a plus. It's just having available people and then trying to figure out something else. So I do think that initially after the trade deadline, that is something that I probably overlooked whenever they got Kuzma, was that you did address one of your other weaknesses that we've been saying for years to fix.
Yeah, they heightened their floor at the expense of not hiding their ceiling, I think. For me personally, what I think is going to be a winning formula in the playoffs. But maybe that move wasn't on the table. So maybe I'm asking for an unrealistic situation that's not possible, right? So maybe I'm just holding them to the standard of becoming one of the best teams in the league, and that wasn't necessarily possible. Yeah, I like the Jericho Sims edition more than anything, though. I think Jericho Sims on their bench unit has been huge. Like you talk about they need athleticism, I agree. They need that shit from a big. Brook Lopez is old, and he feels older than ever. Bobby Portis as your backup 5, or if it's Giannis nomically, whatever, like that wasn't a super effective look on the bench defensively. I like what Jericho Sims has brought on that end a lot, especially in the minutes when he's not with Giannis.
Yeah, if there's one thing he's gonna do, he's gonna jump.
Exactly.
That's it. That is what he's out there to do. Is to test his vertical every minute.
And they need that ability more than ever because Bobby Portis has been suspended for the last 8 games, and I think they got like 17 more games worth of suspension.
I forgot he was on drugs. That's crazy.
He wasn't on drugs. Stop. I mean, he was technically, but
there's different kinds. You know?
It's painkillers, bro.
There's also painkillers.
Okay. I guess we can rattle off some of the other teams that I have on my list. The Miami Heat, we can touch on them quick. Nothing's really changed with this team. Obviously, we witnessed them finally give into the whole Jimmy Butler stuff. The only thing that's been interesting to me is like, oh shit, like Bam Adebayo seems like he's low-key back. He's been much more efficient when it comes to his shots and the new shot diet that he's had. And I think over the last 16 games, so like right even before the All-Star break, he's been hooping his ass off, averaging like 22 a game, efficient as normal, and it seems like he's starting to get back on track, which is cool beans. I have nothing else to say for them because they just don't seem nothing is like changing trajectory rise for the team. They're right in the middle of the pack when it comes to
it in there. Bam's been a beast as of late. His scoring has been hugely improved. It's not just like an aside thing. Like he has been a lot better.
He had 30 last night.
Yeah, he's been hooping. He's right back in the scene when it comes to like being top 30 overall, a top 30 NBA player, and he's looked just like that as of late.
True. Okay. Good. Who's next? Is it you or is it me? Isaac.
Isaac might be out of teams.
My bad. I thought you were saying you were going to do more than one.
I go ahead and rattle off another team that no one really cares about. The Atlanta Hawks. I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words to say about them.
30 seconds on the Heat. That's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. I have nothing to say about them, bro. I look at them, I'm just like, nice, Dave. I'm just playing defense. Okay, cool. The Atlanta Hawks. 5 words for them. Same shit in different toilet. Next. X them off of my list, bro.
I thought Karis LeVert was going to save the day.
He's been better. He's been so much better. He's been hooping.
No, he's good. I like him.
You not see the fucking Euro step game winner that he hit that team with the other day, bro? The Memphis Grizzlies.
Shout out Karis. I hope he's like a part of the team for a long time. I just really hope that it can matter next year, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the eventual hope for this team. At this point in time, you're just fighting for your lives and praying to God that... Oh, one thing that I can say that's actually been interesting for this team that no one really seems to talk about, because whenever you think about this player, you think of one side of the ball and how insane he's been. But Dyson Daniels also been making a real leap offensively as a secondary creator. I don't know if you want him to be that, like on a serious championship contender level team, but seeing the development and the growth on that end could really pay off next year when we get Jalen Johnson back, and just with him like learning all these new skills, it's fucking great.
That could be a really good silver lining. That, you know, the season's lost, you got to find something to get out of it to set yourself up for next year. Just like adding LeVert. Yeah, just like adding LeVert is a move for next year. You want to keep him around. Dyson Daniels being better and a threat to attack closeouts and finish, that could be definitely a big silver lining.
Yeah, like a lot of people forget, like back when he got drafted a couple of years ago it was crazy. I keep on forgetting he was a part of the fucking G League. He was drafted as the goddamn point guard. That's what he is. That's his natural position. And of course, like over there in New Orleans, he wasn't able to really fulfill that because of the guys in front of him. So he was deduced to like an off-ball secondary role who has the ability to do secondary ball handling stuff. And whenever Trae Young is out of those lineups, those abilities are still there and they're roaring. It's just all about his ability to be more aggressive. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Dyson Daniels, man. I really hope he's continues to make that leap.
Yeah, exactly.
What team do I want to do next?
I got 3 more
Brooklyn
teams
Nets.
left.
Brooklyn Nets.
Holy shit.
I learned from the Brooklyn Nets this year that I learned a life lesson, that something can tell you a lot about people around this world when you're observing those in your life, those you see on the internet, whatever. Commitment is easier said than done. Before this year started, they came out, they traded for their picks back, they got rid of Mikal Bridges, seemingly signaling to the world they are ready to commit to a tank. They are ready to do what's necessary to put their team on a long-term path towards excellence eventually. Easier said than done. It has been the least effective tank I've ever seen in my goddamn life. They might make the play-in tournaments.
And listen, part of commitment is communication. They didn't tell Dennis Schroeder that they were tanking, because Dennis Schroeder started the season off hooping, right? They were out here winning games. They had to get him up out of there. But I agree. You look at the Eastern Conference and you're like, damn. You suck.
Yeah.
And then the Nets are about to sneak into the play-in. There should not be a play-in for the Eastern Conference this year.
I can't believe they didn't send Cam Johnson to a good team. It makes me so mad. He's rotting away there, having to tell everybody around us, tell everybody time he touches a mic, listen, we're not tanking. We want to go out there and win. He has to tell people this when, like, obviously he should feel that way. It's ridiculous that they're making him have to explain that because he's not playing for a good team. He should be a Pacer right now. He should be a Thunder right now. He should be a Warrior right now. Wherever it may be, I can't believe he's still in the Nets.
This is crazy. First of all, I'm looking at the standings for the Eastern Conference. 6 through 12, all of them are on losing streaks. They've either lost their most recent game or that's it. The bottom of that conference is absolutely ridiculous. This is awful. But yes, Cam Johnson should not have been there. He should be
unbelievable.
Gone. He should be gone.
Cam
all right,
cool,
we're gonna talk about another Eastern Conference stinker. We're gonna talk about the Washington Wizards. And
let's go. My favorite team.
We're gonna talk about, again, not only just
the deep end,
not only 2025, but really the whole year. I learned that Jordan Poole can still hoop.
Good observation, man. He is underrated.
Yeah, Jordan Poole last year, obviously he gets traded. We made me specifically made a lot of jokes about him in Washington, but he's been solid this year. And Jordan Poole is a guy that if a team like the Orlando Magic, they could use a guy like Jordan Poole.
Absolutely, I would love that fit.
You know, like Jordan Poole can go onto contending teams and be what he was for Golden State, which is I can come off the bench, I can start in some situations, I can give you a spark offensively, I can shoot the three ball, I can create my own shot to a certain extent. Defense, we're not worried about that right now, especially if we're talking about him to the Orlando Magic, because y'all have no offense. So that's exactly why you would be bringing me in. But I do think that Jordan Poole showed his value around the league, and there should be a couple suitors trying to go get Jordan Poole because he really quietly has, you know, quote unquote, like revived his NBA career, and he's been good this year.
Mm-hmm. I would like the Orlando Magic fit a lot because I feel like Jordan Poole's defining thing is, I've said before that he reminds me of like a diet version of Damian Lillard, where the game is built on off the dribble 3-point shooting, where he's going to navigate the pick and roll, be very shifty, get to that three, and use the fact that you have to stretch out and defend him really high to get to the rim really well. He shoots 68% at the rim. He really has shot around there for his entire career. He's extremely effective driving. That's pretty much exactly what the Orlando Magic need. Someone who can create a paint touch and be a high-level shooter both on and off ball.
Exactly.
Speaking of deep shooting and someone who's just like kind of revived their career, it's not to this degree where this player has revived their career, but Tyrese fucking Halliburton has been hooping out of his goddamn mind.
Dude, I'm glad you have the Pacers. That's next.
And he's been very, 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 very reminiscent of the Tyrese Halliburton from the past, bro. Over the last 7 games, he's been absolutely out of his mind, shooting like 60% from the field as a point guard, brother. We know the type of shots that he's been taking. We know the type of deep threes that he likes to take. And since then, he's been shooting 54% from the three-point line and averaging 28 points as well. Alongside that, just a casual like 12.5 assists per game as well. He's been frying the league. And if he's playing like this, then the Eastern Conference just got a little bit more entertaining because, he opens up everything for the Indiana Pacers and everything, including all the possibilities of what the outcome of this team might be.
Yeah, you mentioned the last 9 games. The last 44 games, if you look at him after that 15-game stretch to start the season where he was terrible, like outright terrible, he averaged 15 points on 49% true shooting. We were up here panicking as people who held a lot of Tyrese Halliburton stock. You look at the last 44 games, 19.6 points, 64.5 true shooting, which is absolutely elite. Mm-hmm. Basically, for the entirety of the season after that horrible stretch, he's playing exactly how he looked before that Linsanity run early last year where he was averaging 27. Before that, we still liked Tyrese Halliburton. We talked about him as a top 10 point guard, averaging about 20 and 10, being a highly efficient, keep the ball moving, can be a good shooter, but not going to be like some volume scorer. He's been that all year now. He's been exactly what he was before. So maybe that specific month stretch where the volume shooting hit a next level wasn't real, but he's no longer this disaster he was at the start of the year where we had to question like what happened to this guy.
But now that it is back, it has me thinking again. It has me thinking, oh my God, is this dude back? Was this whole like last year? And also, I'm just saying. I know you had your reservations, and I do
think
too.
We've learned.
But I'm so happy that it's happening.
We can learn that Tyrese Halliburton is the type of player that's going to have ups and downs. Don't react too harshly either way. He's always going to be somewhere in the middle of those two versions, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to have 15 game stretches where the 3-point shot isn't falling. He struggles with confidence, and the scoring threat really crumbles because of that, because he is such a outside-in base scorer that 3-point shot isn't there. He's really not a threat to score at all. Don't overreact when the 3-point shot is gone. It'll come back. And don't overreact when he shoots 50% from three for a stretch of time because it's not going to be consistent.
Most definitely. You were over here in your Teletubby suit having a whole tantrum about Tyrese Halliburton. I remember that.
He was so unbelievably bad. It made me so mad. Like it was insane.
He used those exact words too. He's so unbelievably bad.
Like it didn't make sense how horrible the start to the year was. That it left the worst taste in people's mouths that he doesn't even get talked about anymore because everybody is just like, all right, well, fuck it. You screw me once. I'm done believing in you. And he's earned the right to no longer be viewed in that way. He's not a disaster at all. He's, once again, a very good 9th, 10th, 8th, whatever may be, best point guard in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And he still deserves to have a title of he's a cornerstone piece. I don't know if he's the guy or the piece, but he is one of the guys on any given night for sure.
Yeah, he's all-star level again. He's playing at that level at least. He can be an all-star again. He's no longer playing where it's like this guy's completely fake.
Yeah, we love to see
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Shout out him, man. When that shooting confidence is there, he's a whole different player. He's so fun to watch in stretches like this.
You know who else is so fun to watch, bro? It's very, very not irrelevant, but it makes me happy. I'll say that. It makes me happy to see James fucking Harden go ahead and score 50 points last night against who did he play against again? The Detroit Pistons.
Yep.
Yeah, against the Detroit Pistons. He was balling his ass off, bro. Now,
I didn't see that game. What happened? Why did he score 50? I don't know what happened. I didn't get to watch a second of it.
Bro, he's getting to the rim like a madman, bro. Shit open.
He was dicing. Was Jalen Duren playing?
Yeah, Jalen Duren was playing, and Asar Thompson was on him as well. So
I take back what I said. My bad.
Very scary, very scary sight. But seeing James Harden,
I mean, listen, you played the game long enough. You gonna get got. It happens.
You sound like someone who's been got. But something that I've learned this season for the Los Angeles Clippers is that, okay, I see this team. I know their archetype. They're getting it out the mud offensively, and they're getting all of the juice they can out of James Harden while being one of the better defensive teams. But the second they're not that defensively, everything crumbles and it's cooked. They've done absolutely nothing throughout the trade deadline to go ahead and reassure their 3-point shooting outside of trying to trade for Bogdan Bogdanovic. But he, as a Hawks fan myself, it was already written a long time ago. He is not the same player right now, and I think he needs a full offseason of health. So going ahead and trading for him, which hasn't worked out, and then also trading or signing someone like Ben Simmons, who's a good player. I think a lot of teams would like to have him on his team, but what he needs, with what this team needs, he's not conducive to that at all. I have learned to finally ship the sail for this team. I kind of thought that they would win a couple of playoff games, or a couple of games, 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. Now that sail's written. They're still going to make the playoffs, but I have little to no hope for them whatsoever.
Yeah, we held on early in the year. They were obviously very, very surprisingly competent whenever they played without Kawhi Leonard to start the year. They were in the playoffs, didn't really have a stretch where they faltered, and we're all like, shout out the Clippers, man. They are proving everybody wrong. As soon as the Kawhi Leonard news broke, we were like, fuck, this team might be the 12th seed. This is going to be painful. And no, they proved that wrong. And the positive sentiment around them was really carried by the fact that, listen, you're doing this without Kawhi. What's it going to be like when they add him? You're going to add prime Kawhi back to this team? Healthy Kawhi was always the verbiage used. And he's playing. He is on the court. He is healthy. He hasn't been dominant, really. They're what are they currently, the 6th seed? So they're still a good team with him. He's probably made them better. But they actually dropped off in standing since he's been back. But that's not to fault. No. What are they at today? What
I
are they
think
at
today
currently?
they're not at the 7th seed, I believe. Let me refresh
Where are
this
they?
app.
Okay, wherever they're at, we haven't seen Kawhi be at the level that
8th
it's like,
seed right now.
okay, they're 8th. Yeah, this shit fluctuates so much. But we haven't seen Kawhi be at the level that it makes them like the next level where you're like, oh, this team might make a run. Hasn't been the case yet. Still a lot of season left. They could surge, and we see that as Kawhi gets more games under his belt. But the theoretical hype of what could be hasn't really turned into productivity when Kawhi got back.
Yeah, so me personally, I think the book is kind of closed on that when it comes to seeing what a very, very healthy Kawhi looks like on this team. I just have no hope for this team whatsoever. And the only thing that's keeping them alive is James Harden.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, maybe they just are who we thought they'd be with the healthy Kawhi. They just are a spunky, good 7 through 10 seed.
Yeah,
Facts.
exactly.
Especially with the Warriors surging now, it's hard to, and the Timberwolves playing well, hard to imagine them getting a top 6 seed right now.
It's kind of impossible, especially with the way their defense has been reeling.
Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. A sentence I don't say very often. With
How
any type
about
of excitement.
not?
What I've learned this year is Josh Giddey, you are going to be a rich man this summer. You are going to get paid. Josh Giddey has been hooping. Josh Giddey has been getting the most, perhaps the greatest, or not greatest, that's not the verbiage I want to use, just the most prototypical contract year I've ever seen. A guy that gets to a team off of a low point in which he's dumped by his team he was on before because they just didn't have faith in him being what they need, right? For whatever reason, we know why it went the way it did with the Thunder. It wasn't a promising season. He goes to a new team, gets opportunity, a fresh slate in a contract year in which will be free agent next summer. And man, the ball is in his hands and he is putting up numbers for an organization that loves to see their in-house talent put up numbers and loves to pay them to stick around because they like continuity more than anything in this goddamn world. And over these last 10 games, Josh Giddey's at 19 points on 62% true shooting with 8.3 rebounds, 6.6 assists. Just being the good version of Josh Giddey you could want. And I'm not here to say it's fake. I mean, he's playing well, I guess. It's not like it's, like Fugazi or anything. It's 30. Never mind. 53% from 3. I just saw.
How much?
That helps.
Yeah.
Who?
53% from 3.
Oh my God.
And 45% from 2. Never mind. It is fake.
Witchcraft.
That's fake as shit.
That is
fake as
witchcraft, bro. Holy
Never
shit.
mind. It's completely fake. It's pure 3-point shooting variance.
That right there
What?
in my native language, that's what we call marabu. That's the devil's work, bro. That is not real. Holy hell. 50,
I came up here to say a soft, good job, Josh Giddey. You're going to get paid because the Bulls are dumb and they're going to give you $30 million a year.
It's still
That's
gonna
happen. Still going to happen. But I'm also here to say this shit is fake as hell. 45% from 2. This is not real.
Do you think that the Chicago Bulls are looking at the same numbers you are? They're not. They're
These
not.
basic ass numbers?
They're
This shit is not advanced.
They open up the ESPN app and they go and they look at the box score. They say he's getting paid. Yes, Josh Giddey, you are gonna make multiple tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, and congratulations, I suppose.
Yeah. All right.
Ooh.
I got some teams. Let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers.
I like this one. Okay.
And I have learned that while you are waiting for one of your young draft picks to develop offensively, you need to sit down, pull your shorts up, and get into a defensive stance. And you need to play defense. Because the Portland Trailblazers have made as much of a push as they can towards the top of the bottom to try to get into the play-in because they are defending. And they have some guys. They have Tumani Kamara, amazing. Denny Avdia, Klingon, all these guys hooping defensively. Since the start of the calendar year, they have the 6th best defense in the league. Now, throughout that time, again, Scoot Henderson has been playing well. He's been playing better. But the thing that has stood out to me about the Blazers is that they've gone on runs. They've won. They've had like win streaks and stuff. And it's because they're defending right now. And I think that is something that like has really been underrated about the Blazers and their season to where right now, again, it's going to be hard because the schedule is really tough. But there is a possibility of them sneaking into the 10 seed to get into the play-in, especially with Dallas about to go through the stretch that they're going to, and Phoenix being the Phoenix Suns. And so
that'll be a massive win if that was to happen, bro.
It would be crazy. It would be crazy. And I do think that at this point right now, it is unlikely because they have to play a lot of like the top contenders. But it's still on the board. and they've gotten a lot of really good wins.
I think we take it a step further with the Trailblazers. And like the things you're saying are all true, but we can zoom out with it and take a long-term outlook with them. They don't have a star, right? Scoot hasn't hit like we wanted. Shaden Sharp, his rim pressure has been a little bit better as of late, but he doesn't seem like he's going to be a star either. Outside of the guy who they don't have, you look at like 2 through 8, or let's say 2 through 6 of your young core, they have one of the best in the league. They have the perfect young core that for when they get a star, he's going to be in such an amazing situation. If they draft Dylan Harper or if they draft whoever, I mean, it seems like they're not going to be fucking high enough in the lottery at this rate, but if they were to get a top tier guard or a top tier forward, whatever it may be, the defensive infrastructure of Tumani Kamara, Denny, and Klingon alone, just those 3 guys next to your 2 main creators, that's a legit like playoff team caliber supporting cast. Like those are 3 eventually to be elite defenders when Klingon hits year 2 and 3.
I have a question, y'all. Where do you think this Portland Trailblazers team would be if Damian Lillard was inserted into this roster?
Oh,
Tennessee.
I mean, like he came back, like you just like magically put him on the team.
Yeah, just pop him in
Tennessee.
there.
Let's say he replaces Anthony Simons. There's 1-for-1 guy there.
Are
You
they
said
that
10
much?
seeds?
Oh damn!
like 9 or 10 seed. Listen, at this point right now, if they were the 9 seed, they would be like 3 to 4 games better.
They'd be about as good as the Timberwolves, I think, if you put Dame in the situation.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
so
7 or 8 seed.
This is a masterclass of team building when things haven't panned out for your quote unquote star player like you once wanted it to happen. Focusing on the outer edges, which I don't know if they necessarily did. Maybe they just stumbled into this shit. But I think Chauncey Billups was on the fucking hottest of hot seats over the last few years because he was absolutely doing nothing. Now, I did realize last year that he was semi-cooking. I saw that this Portland Trailblazers team, I believe, at a certain point in time last year, they're a middle-of-the-pack defense, which is seismic and it's one of the biggest telltale signs for an NBA team finding an identity early, especially if they're still a fucking ass at the end of the day, like 29th ranked in the entire league. So to see this and to see the Tumani Kamaras out of the world, I gave him like all the credit in the world a couple podcasts ago because I didn't know. I thought his name was just throwing in when it comes to the Damian Lillard trade. Like seeing all this happen, seeing Donovan Clingan, who doesn't get that much playing time and whatnot, but when he's on the court, he looks like he absolutely fits. You couldn't be happier as a Blazers fan.
Yeah, all that's true. I just wish Chauncey Billups wasn't the worst offensive coach in the NBA. That would be nice if he could bring some of the defensive instincts to the offense because they've routinely been the least inspired offense I've ever seen. It's just the most basic pick.
But we're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about
Yeah.
it. See, we knew that. Again, that's what I'm saying. We
When
knew
they
that.
get
We
their
didn't
guy-
learn that.
When they get their guy, they're going to be in such a good position, man. I love Klingon. And maybe they can trade Aiden for something. Maybe they can trade Jeremy Grant for something and get some more young guys. Klingon, Denny, and Tumani are such a awesome defensive core. Like, I don't know what their route is to get the star because they're not going to be in the top 5 of this draft unless they get some good luck. But I want to see it really bad because they're not terribly far away.
They kind of got too good too fast, bro, with their defense. Like it makes sense because like
I disagree with that.
really, I think this kind of I
dis-
don't want
I
to say
dis- I disagree.
jacked up sort of
I
things,
don't know.
No, you need something. You need a silver lining because their ball handling picks have been ass. So they need a silver lining.
And I don't know. I don't know if you can ever get too good at defense too fast, just because like on a year-to-year basis, that stuff also does like kind of fluctuate a little bit, especially like even if you have good defensive talent, like, you know, depending on if guys get hurt or depending on, you know, certain like 3-point rates or stuff like that, like it's not a given that you are going to be a top 3 defense every single time. And so I think that building a good defensive infrastructure does help a lot, especially when they're trying to do the thing that you said, which was building an identity for a young team. So I don't think that that's necessarily a negative for them.
No, it's a huge positive because if this didn't happen, they would be desolate. Chauncey wouldn't have a job anymore. They'd have one of the worst young cores in the league. Like,
Yeah.
it's a blessing that they are defending well because they absolutely need something to build off of. Like,
But in my mind,
that directionless.
I only say that because I'm just like the talent would still be there. They might not have the direction of what Chauncey Billups provided on that end. But in terms of just like long-term outlook over the next few years, like how are you going to stumble into that star? Because
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get
like
it.
there's
But, I mean, listen,
legitimately
you had the
no
number 2
pathway.
pick. You had
and
the
you're
chance
like-
and you blew it.
Yeah, there's legitimately no pathway to that, and you might be a middle of the pack team. I'm
That's
thinking
not
way
true,
too
though.
ahead of time, but I'm just like making my observations.
But also that's also, I think that might be a little bit overblown because guys get upset in their situations all the time. Like in a year and a half, in 2 years, obviously nobody's gonna say like, nobody's gonna say I want to go to Portland. Like that's not really what happens. But people say, oh, I wanna go to New York. I want to go to LA. I want to go here. I want to go there. And then the team that's traded him is like, good for you, buddy. Go to Toronto. Like, so I think like Portland could be in a situation where a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, a star gets upset and you have a whole new crop of draft picks to trade. And then you can trade and go get your star there while all of these guys continue to develop. So I think like for teams like that, that is the way that you go and get a star. And, quote unquote.
I just ran a tankathon simulator.
They got the number one pick.
No, the Spurs did. They went up 8 points.
Why the hell are we talking about the Spurs? Wait,
I just pressed tankathon to see what would happen, and Portland stayed at 10, and the Spurs went to 1.
That's great.
Does anyone have the Spurs?
I do, and I'm so glad that you said that because if they got the number one pick, that would be amazing. Because what I have learned is that they are still so far away from being a competent team. And like coming into the year, I thought that they were going to make a push towards like the play-in and be good. Like we all saw the ascension of Wemby and everything. Obviously, Wemby being hurt does not help anything. But you had him, you had De'Aaron Fox, and they didn't make a crazy run like we all thought it would have looked like. And when you look at the numbers in terms of their defense and their offense, they are still not amazing on either side of the ball. When Wemby's on the floor, they have like out on cleaning the glass, they're in like the 62nd percentile, something like that. When he's off the floor, they drop all the way down to the 8th percentile. And so a lot of teams, when your best defender is off the floor, when your best player is off the floor, obviously you're not going to be as good. Having that big of a gap shows everybody that the rest of the team is cheeks. And so you still have to build out. What's up?
Let's dive deeper into this, please.
You still have to build out everything else.
I want to talk about the individual cheeks. Let's talk about cheek for cheek, one at a time, bro. The first cheek that I want to talk about, who is very scary with the level of cheeks that he is, considering like what's attached to this cheek. It's a whole lot of money, man. Whole lot of money. What the hell happened to Devin Vassell? I had such high hopes and aspirations for this man.
Vassell just had a good game too.
Yes, he did in general, but just in general.
I was going to say, what happened to Devin Vassell? I don't even know.
For the entirety of the year, he's been a pretty large disappointment considering how much money is attached to his name. People were slandering the San Antonio Spurs for how much they paid him, like I think a year and a half or 2 years ago now at this point. And he surely looks like a bad contract right now, legitimately. It's easier to see how someone like Stephon Castle fits on this team. And hell, even a Jeremy Sohan, who hasn't been that good as well on this team, than Devin Vassell. And the Spurs, legitimately, for the first time in a long time, have a bad contract, a really bad contract on their team that they need to get off of really soon.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that because, I mean, they're not in a position where that money really matters yet. They're not like... Vassell being a bad contract only matters if you're like an upper tier contender that needs to make moves with certain amounts of money and he's really blocking you. That's not the position they're in. So I think he's not been good. I'm with you. I think his ceiling isn't very high. I think I was saying that earlier in the year, but it's not to the point where you gotta like dump him or anything. You can still give him more time, but he's just not a very good rim scorer. Like last year, he shot 71% at the rim. The volume has never been high. It was only 22% of his shots last year. He just doesn't have a good burst that really consistently creates easy shots for him. He's really reliant on jump shooting, especially from the mid-range. 36% of his shots this year come from mid-range, which is a pretty high number. And that's just a hard archetype to be unless you're going to be like an extremely skilled shooter and you better provide some defensive value or passing. And I feel like all that's just kind of been okay. Like he is shooting well on mid-range shooting right now, 46% on long mid, but only 36% from three, 64% at the rim. I don't feel like he's a super strong defender. It just kind of feels like you're just a guy.
Dude, right now it feels like real, like later towards the end of his career, like Monte Ellis, like right now, where it's just like you're not like doing anything that's really like super needed on the court. You're not one of the best at it, and also you're not playmaking like that.
Well, late career Monte was a defensive liability, so I wouldn't say that far, but I know what you're saying. He's not an impactful offensive player. Like he's just a guy, and when somebody you're paying max rookie extension money, you want him to be like a core creator for your team, and it's just not that.
Yeah, the reason why I have there should be so much attention towards him. The reason why I see a lot of Spurs fans like have a little bit of static for him is because of what's tied to him, which is all that money.
Mm-hmm.
The Tobias Harris effect.
and I get why a Spurs fan will probably see them like, we gave you this money, you're not doing well, yada yada. Like that feels terrible. The money doesn't matter at this point in the career. Like for where they're at, the money I don't think is hurting them per se. But I understand the vitriol you're describing from Spurs fans. Like it doesn't feel good, like emotionally, to see the extension and then see you get worse.
If you're the Spurs, and if you guys keep on telling me like Victor Wembanyama is that guy, and then you see so many players around the league like wanting to hint towards playing for the San Antonio Spurs, this dude is like a deterrence towards that. If there's ever going to be a move, but also like if there's ever going to be a move, like who knows, maybe he's just a contract.
He can get.
They're not in a luxury tax. They're not like it's fine.
They're not.
Yeah, and he can also still get moved. Like I think going into the offseason, especially now that you have De'Aaron there, and then hopefully like Wemby's okay, you have a little bit of time to reassess everything. And so if Devin Vassell gets moved in the offseason and you go and like they go and make a move, and now you have another like trio that you're building around in terms of Fox, insert player here, and Wemby, that's cool. That's cool. But eventually, I'm with you. They are going to have to make a move because the rest of this roster is just not bad. It's just not good. You see it this year. You saw it last year. And obviously, it was expected last year. Vic was the number one overall pick. You're going to a bad team. You know it was going to be bad. You thought they were going to take a step forward this year. They won a couple more games, right? Vic was better. But still, the team is bad. But whenever you get to the point of, hey, the rest of the team isn't bad and you have Vic, that's when you start getting into title contender, deep run contender. And obviously they're just not there yet. And so like when we go into predictions next season, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, they got Fox, they got Wemby. I want to put them in the top 6. I want to put them in the top 5. It might not be that. They might just be the 8th seed next year.
People were doing that this year. People were trying to say they're going to make the play-in tournament before the De'Aaron Fox trade, and people were mad at me because I said they'd be like a bottom 2 team in the Western Conference.
I mean, that was me. Yeah, I thought they would be like 10.
I was the highest on the Spurs out of all of us. Yeah, they were better than that.
They were a little bit better than I thought. But like the reasons I said I don't think they're going to be a playing team is because the roster outside of Wemby fucking sucks. Like I like Sohan. He's a very good defender. Doesn't give you offensive punch to that 4 position. Vassell hasn't taken leaps. Their wings are trash. They have some guys that have been better than you thought, like Champagny and Branham, who are like good rotation players, but like they're your best wings.
But like,
they should be decent bench players. Like they should be your Sam Hauser, like your luxury to have this guy who's pretty competent for a cheap contract, not the guy who you're like, we should probably start him over Keldon Johnson because he just plays a lot better. Like that shouldn't be the situation you're in. And shout out Chris Paul, everything he brought them. You need a little more punch in that position, which is why they got De'Aaron Fox. Like, I guess I'm with you that Devin Vassell's been a disappointment. It's just not my biggest gripe right now, just because I feel like they're so far away with everything else on the roster that we'll cross the Vassell disappointment bridge when we get there. But we have like 7 other slots to upgrade before that becomes like debilitating.
Exactly. Which sucks to see because obviously if Wemby comes back and he's healthy, you want them to be in contention. You want them to be good. But it's just the process. And honestly, they're kind of moving on the timeline that Mo always talks about. Because Mo's always like, oh, you'd hate to get too good too fast. The Spurs are like, you know what? We're not going to do that at all. We're going to take our time.
Which is why this year, listen, you didn't want to have 2 lottery picks again like last year, but you do. And last year could have been a big opportunity, but the draft sucked. So you punted one of those lottery picks because you didn't want to take a guy like Rob Dillingham. Here you are again with your own pick that I ran Tankathon one time and it went number 1. I ran Tankathon one time and the Atlanta Hawks pick was number 11. If you can have the number 1 pick and number 11, you will be good next year and none of this will fucking matter.
Exactly.
You know what? Matter of fact, I love Devin Vassell. I love what he's doing, bro. You know what? You know where Devin Vassell is actually from? Swanee,
Atlanta?
Georgia, bro. Yep, exactly. So I think
bro, who isn't from Atlanta at this rate? I feel like you talk about this every week. You're telling me so many news from Atlanta.
Stephon Castle's from Georgia too.
We're
deep out here when it comes to talent, bro.
Let me see. I think I have one team left.
I have one more.
I have one more as well.
Everybody has one team left. Okay. My last team is the Golden State Warriors.
Duh.
I don't know what to say we've learned because I feel like we've talked about it so much. Like, I don't know. What have you guys learned about the Warriors? Like, yeah, they're still good if you have help around Steph. Like, I guess that's the one thing I learned, which I didn't learn this. I never thought this. Steph is not washed. He's just taken a natural step back to where he can't carry everybody in the goddamn planet with no help around him. What we learned is you give Steph the requisite amount of ball handling around him to give him enough ability to get his game off without the insane amount of attention he was drawing before, and he can still be good. So I learned what we assumed, and now we see it in practice. Steph Curry is still very capable of being the best player on your team.
Facts.
Yeah, cool. I can agree with that. Not much needs to be said. Literally like similar exact themes when it comes to talking about the Warriors and the Lakers.
Yeah, we talked about.
I thought Steph was washed. I thought LeBron was washed a little bit. Same conversation applies to Steph and all that. Give them talent, then they're gonna thrive. Everyone's thriving. Everyone's going crazy. Moody getting minutes. Draymond. They're dope, bro.
I was way more worried about LeBron than I was about Steph. LeBron, I was scared. Steph, I was never that worried. Obviously he's not going to look good with the situation just because he's not that guy anymore. It's a top 3 player in the world. So if we want to say he's washed, like if we're using the word washed to mean he got worse in some regard, yes, he's 37. He's now closer to number 10 in the world than he is 3 like he used to be. Yeah. But he's still very much as a top 10 guy. When we had some TikTok comments, whenever I would say that, being 37. Like, he hasn't even been a top 20 player in the world. Like there was so much reactionary dialogue around how he played this year without realizing that, like, I can guarantee he'll be better if you inject a little bit more talent. That's not the case.
Yeah, I had.
Whereas LeBron, I thought he was just old as fucking cooked. I was scared about LeBron.
He's 37. He's gonna be 37 in 2 weeks.
That's your goat,
he's
bro.
old as hell.
That's your goat. I felt these.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna use the word washed.
Yo,
I've been playing like a 37-year-old.
I've been thinking that he was like 35 for like the last.
No. Steph is one of those players where it's just like, oh damn, like he's a little bit older than I thought because he came onto the scene a little bit later.
37?
Yeah, and it was also like a 2-3 year college player too. I forget. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's crazy. Old.
But we can move on to my last team.
That hurts.
The Oklahoma City Thunder. There is not too much to be learned because they came into the NBA fucking sending the whole league on fire. But one thing I will say is that something that I personally learned. Yo, Aaron Wiggins is a vital piece to this team offensively. He provides and fills in a lot of the scoring gaps that whenever you see like OKC go ahead and struggle and shit and just have, whoa, why y'all sin like that?
Isaac looks like he has something
Isaac ready to get some
say.
Bars off, bro. I think he's containing his excitement. I'm gonna get it off in 2 minutes. Aaron Wiggins is so vital for what this team wants, bro. Because
hey yo,
just stay right there, Isaac. I'm gonna get it off for 2 seconds. Just stay from me, all right?
Stop getting me off.
Yo, you're getting me off.
Nah, we gotta stop. Grow up.
You want to get off? But Aaron Wiggins is so goddamn important, bro. I want to say back-to-back years, OKC hasn't failed or fumbled necessarily when it comes to these trades, but they traded for 2 players in the last 2 years. Gordon Hayward last year trade was horrendous, and they lost that trade obviously. And then they they traded for also Alex Caruso as well. I think last year or something like that. Great moves, but it hasn't necessarily paid off in the ways you want it to be. And seeing
the Caruso
Aaron
trade
Wiggins,
hasn't paid off?
Not necessarily because he's not adding to your offense at all.
Who gives a shit? Look at their defense.
He's been a brick offensively. And then on top of that too, like he hasn't been as consistent in the lineup when it comes to availability. And sure. Aaron Wiggins helps close the gaps on all ends. And whenever like the Lou Dort ain't hitting this shot, or the Chet Holmgren is struggling, or the J-Dubs who struggles once in a while when it comes to heavy contenders, Aaron Wiggins just seems to always be there, consistent as ever. And I learned how much of an important, vital piece that he is. And he's probably he should be like top 5 on 60 Man of the Year ballot. I don't know if that matters or means anything, but that's the level of importance that he is.
Sure, the 5th best 6 man in the league. That means something. It's a good luxury to have. All year, I've been called a glazer around Shea Dialogue, and I understand this episode is about what I've learned. I would be remiss if I didn't glaze a little bit.
Go ahead.
Because what I have learned this year about the OKC Thunder is not that they're a great team, is not that they'd be the championship favorite. I was saying that this summer. As soon as they added Alex Caruso and Hartenstein, I came on Twitter, and I said, I think they're going to win the championship. I have stayed steadfast in that approach. But what I've learned this season, that I've accepted in the last 2 months.
You'll say that they're all time.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a legend. He is playing at a legendary level. The 3-year peak that he's cementing himself to be at this year.
Welcome to the party.
It's no welcome to the party. He's just now breaking into that because it's easy to say because obviously early in the year I wasn't as high. it's not just that I came around. He has gotten better again. Every single season, he finds a way to add to his game and get more efficient, higher volume scoring, better playmaker, rising his team to a higher level. He keeps getting better, and this year is no exception. Early in the season, I said him versus Jason Tatum is a hot debate, and I went Jason Tatum's way because he was also shooting like 45% from three, playing at the top of his mind. But all things being equal, I liked the all-around game of Tatum because I thought he was a better playmaker, right? Shea has reached a level of scoring dominance right now that the playmaking is like not amazing, but it's better than you think because the scoring gravity is so goddamn insane. After this year ends, however the playoffs go, assuming he performs well again, maybe it includes the fucking finals MVP, we'll see. But even if that doesn't happen, it's just a regular good playoff performance as a scorer. This is going to be like a top 10 to 12 3-year peak as a scorer I think we've seen in NBA history. That's the level he's playing at. The ability to be, it's like 44 points or 75 for 100 possessions on 65% true shooting this year while leading your offense and carrying to the degree that he is. Like he is a one-man offense in the same way goddamn James Harden was. It just looks different because it's not the same level of playmaking. This is, simply put, one of the most impressive scorers we're going to see.
I 110% agree.
And I'm not saying all-time great level player, like overall, like you still got to prove that. But just as a scorer, we're watching one of the most dominant scorers of our lifetimes.
He's like that. He gets.
I 100%
buckets.
agree, bro. Honestly, this OKC
it.
team as a whole, to me, they like remind me so goddamn much of the 2015 Golden State Warriors, where they're just like kind of coming up to the scenes, and Steph Curry and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the same light. Like they were viewed as like really damn good players, but they like rose up to the scene and became like top 3 players so fucking fast, and they took the storm of the obviously the Golden State Warriors took the storm of the league with their new style of play and all that, and Steph Curry like revolutionized the game and all that. It looks very different again, but it feels very similar in terms of where NBA fans are mindset wise to how they view Shai and the Oklahoma City Thunder as a whole, and how this style of play is just really damning, bro.
The best way I can put it, the way they've elected to build around Shai this year and put themselves in position to maybe win a championship, be the best team right now, it's a modern version of what the Sixers did around Allen Iverson. Of we have this one dominant scorer that will create an advantage every single play because he just cannot be guarded, and he can create for others using that scoring gravity. We're going to surround him with nothing but defensive talent and offensive players that complement what he's doing. That's what the Thunder have done this year. And obviously it's sacrilegious to say because Allen Iverson made the finals and won MVP, and Shai hasn't done that yet, even though I think he might. This is a better version of that. He's playing at a better level than Allen Iverson. I don't know if I'm going to get fucking stoned for saying that. But he is just the most dominant 3-level scorer that we've seen in recent years. Like, it feels like I'm watching guard Kevin Durant at times. With obviously we know he's the rim scorer, right? He's the best in the league from a position like that. But the level to which he dominates in mid-range now, that wasn't the case in 2022. That wasn't the case in 2023. That's become the best in the league. The 3-point volume is higher this year. That's been the big thing of why he's so much better this season and more efficient. The 3-point rate has gone higher, 37%. He checks every box as a scorer and keeps getting better at every small level detail that he's just truly unguardable now.
Understand. You want to be great? Go get buckets. Go get
you can do it like this.
Go get buckets in a variety of ways. Make sure that your bag is not only deep but endless, just like Shai. And you two will be great.
I saw Thunder fans say on Twitter that, like, you know, this is it's hard to talk about Shai in this way because people are going to hear this and be like, "Oh, free throw merchant, he sucks, blah blah blah. You're wrong. You're glazing."
So
It's dumb, but also like I understand not everybody puts so much time thinking about it, and it does feel weird that he's being propelled this high without doing a lot to earn it, whereas other peers of his like Tatum have to like win a championship and do all these things to get this level of hype, right? So I understand on the surface level to the person that's just a regular NBA fan that isn't thinking about it all day, why that feels like too much too fast. I get it. But you have to understand, this man is not fucking normal in his development path. The way that he literally just keeps getting better is unprecedented. Like, this is one of the outliers in player development in NBA history.
Outliers?
Such a, I don't know.
Outliers. In the level, the way he got better, I saw a Thunder fan say it this morning, which I thought was really well put. He got way more athletic after the bubble. The first 3-4 years of his career, as late up to 2020, he was like think about how do we describe him? We were like, oh, he's a slithery, long slasher that really gets around people with these smart angles, yada, yada. You never would have said he's some like elite athlete. Now he's extremely strong. His quick first step is better. He knows how to weaponize that better. That alone is very unique. Think about it. He was like, not slow, but he wasn't like fast. He played at his own pace is the word we used because he kind of had this like Kyle Anderson slow-mo off-kilter rhythm to how he drove.
He was bopping dudes.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
The word to
now
Baron.
he's quick as shit, strong as shit, knocks you out for a spot.
Boom dizzle.
That is a weird development you don't see a lot from players that age at this point of his career, as well as adding the most unstoppable mid-range scoring bag in the league. That didn't exist before. Adding the three-point volume. That didn't exist before. Like, it's not normal to see players develop in this way where they keep getting better so incrementally. To go from 3 years ago, we were like, oh, he can make an all-star leap, to now, oh, this is one of the 3 best players in the world.
I think
that does not happen very often.
I think what it sounds like is just like he just grew into his body more and maximized every ounce of God-given athleticism that he's been given, which wasn't a whole lot because you're right, like all those things date back to all the deficiencies, quote unquote deficiencies athletically in his game, date back to when he was fucking high school, bro. Date back to when he was over there in Kentucky. Like people were just on his ass about how he was not an explosive scorer whatsoever.
Exactly.
And he's explosive in his own right. It's at a different pace. It doesn't look normal the same, but it seems like things have gone higher to another level. And what like really helps.
I think you're saying it too softly.
What intertwines that and what really helps amplify those things is all the other skills that he's like harnessed on, which is the 3-point shooting, him getting even better at finishing the paint, bucking, getting the mid-range shot, and the playmaking. Well, I think that's what screams to me. Not necessarily the athleticism part. I think he's growing to his body normally. Like Jason Tatum don't look the same compared to when he was like 21.
Normal, dude.
But I think
I know what you're saying. It's not normal. This is not. You said maximizing what he has. He's gotten more. He's worked on his body. He's strong as shit now. Like he is like quick. Like he is an explosive athlete now. And like, I know what you're saying. You're saying he got the most out of it, that he built everything around that because he was an explosive athlete and it's making him look more explosive. I think he's just worked on his body. And I think we've seen that this guy works at every level of his game in a ridiculous way, that he doesn't market it the same way other players do, where they talk nonstop about the summer work they do, but he just keeps coming back better and more explosive and more skilled. I think it's just like an unprecedented level of development that he probably starts.
And that's just consistency, you know, like his whole life is consistent, you know? So I can see why when you do something every single day, eventually you're going to get farther than where other people go, you know? So yeah, that also amazing clip, man. Amazing.
It is. My whole life's consistent. And like, see, people don't like, he's like this like pretty boy Instagram captions, like fuck boy in that way that people don't like, don't correlate that with that crazy hard worker because it's like not the normal combination. And he doesn't like, most people that are gym rats like that are posting pictures of them fucking in the gym and constantly talking about it. And I feel like he'd rather talk about his fits rather than how much he works. So people like don't think about it, but clearly he is that type of guy.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you say, what he's done over the last few years is special, bro.
I pray he makes the finals. Otherwise, people are going to be on my ass how much I've been glazing. I pray they make the finals.
Generational. See, the thing about you is like when you love a player, you really love a player in the storyline and shit. So you put all your chips into it.
And I think you should. I think people are so pussy about not wanting to be wrong. When you're watching a legend, you're watching a legend. I was telling you Giannis is a legend. I was telling you Jokic is a legend. And people were like, you can't do it in the playoffs. We do this thing where you're scared to be proven wrong because everything online is Twitter discourse and everything online is slandering you for being stupid. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. It's okay to acknowledge you're witnessing a legend before it's proven fact. Sometimes you can tell before the championship confirms what you think.
See, that's okay. But also like the caveat to that is just like you say it as if it's like sure and line gonna happen instead of just like letting the player give himself a chance to prove it. That's the best way to frame it.
I'm saying
when you do
I
talk
don't need
someone
to be
up
confirmed by
like
a
that
championship.
to me, I know, but I'm saying like when you talk, it's almost like you set a player up in that way, fan wise and on Twitter wise, not like big picture world or whatever. Obviously, you don't
and
have
that's a problem with them.
But
I think what I'm saying
that's
is I don't need a championship to confirm he's a legend. You can look at so much else to see how good somebody is, and people feel the need to say it only matters if you have the chip. And I think that's just a dumbass way we talk about basketball, where only thing can be validated is team success. And it matters, of course. I'm not saying he's a top 15 player all time or anything crazy, but I think when we're talking about your skill as a scorer, which is really the main thing I'm bigging up, like you don't have to show me the chip or it doesn't matter. Like you're saying I'm set up to get slander because a slander is coming from a point of stupidity and from a point of linking outcome to process. And that's just not at all what I'm saying.
Right. And if you know that people don't
Fuck
have
them.
as
I'm not
many
gonna go off
brain
their basis.
cells, if you know that they don't have as many brain cells, then why like go ahead and throw
Calm
something
down.
in their face and then be like, yeah, he's that, but you're not
Calm
that. You know what I'm saying?
Because I think it's important that we don't operate off of this toxic like basis of things only
keep
matter
going,
if you win a
bro.
championship. I think it's extremely important
I
that we
agree.
operate off of.
Keep calling them stupid in creative ways.
I think we have to set the standard of acknowledging that play on the court matters, and then you can highlight when people are becoming some of the greats, and the play matters, and that it's important to, like we were talking about in the every time you go on ESPN or TNT, they're just shitting on people. I think it's important to do the opposite and acknowledge when you're watching somebody do something historic.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's just the way that people like find ways and lengths to hate and just be like, slow down. It amazes me. You're not wrong. I'm just thinking about
That's
it
on
from the
them.
other side of things, you know?
It's like, God, read a book sometimes. Oh my God.
It's not even that. It's like, it's stupid, but it's like, stop being a hater is a real thing. Like, it's not like
Yes,
people lack
that's the biggest
intellectual
thing.
ability. I'm not saying they lack the intellectual ability to understand why Steph Shea Curry, what the fuck did I just say?
I am.
Why
What?
Shea is playing at the level.
Steph Shea Curry,
I'm
that's
not
the greatest
saying
player
they
of all
lack
time.
intellectual-
Holy shit.
I'm not saying they're intellectually incapable. I'm saying they choose to go from this basis of hatred, which is a dumb place to be, and they're not putting the time into analyzing why we're talking about the sport in this way and what exterior factors have shaped sports media discourse to behave in this way. That to me is stupid, and it's a symptom of a stupid discourse, not stupid individuals.
And that's humans that we're talking about at its core. People like to watch basketball casually, and then on top of that as well, we're just fucking negative all the time, bro. So that's why we get the result that we do.
I don't think it is a
And that's
human
why you
nature
see
thing.
it
I
as
think
well.
it's a what we've seen on TV and what's been conditioning people to talk about issue.
Guys, I hate to interrupt. I still have the Sacramento Kings on my list.
Ain't nobody give a damn about the
We're not talking about the Kings today. Fuck that.
I
Okay.
have the Sacramento Kings on my list today.
They're the last team. I didn't know how long we were gonna keep going. I was waiting. I was like, when do I jump in? Like, are we gonna give them the spotlight today?
Anyway, it's important to highlight how great the greats are playing. Fuck the negativity. If I'm wrong, I don't give a shit if they don't win the finals. Nevertheless, Shays is good, and we should talk about it.
All right. So we're gonna end with the Kings here. And I've learned that Domantas Sabonis is going to get a statue outside of that arena because they don't have anything really going for them, and they have committed themselves
Isaac,
to this
you
core.
want to hear this new song? You want to hear this new song?
This guy's
Hell yeah, let me hear it.
oh, that's fire.
Is it intro to TikTok time?
You're
Hey,
rude.
Kings
You're rude.
fans.
Y'all are rude. King fan. I was actually trying to make a point here. I was actually
fucking
trying to
with
make a point.
Why are we
Man,
not
go
in
to TikTok.
right now?
Go to TikTok time. Go to TikTok time. I'm sorry, Kings fans. I got you next week. I got you next week. I promise.
Do you hear that verse? One of the hardest of all time, bro.
With that being said, we're on to TikTok time. I didn't talk about the Celtics either. Fuck them. Welcome to TikTok time. Today we have a very fun thing to start with.
Are we singing
Something
more
that has been-
LeBron songs?
Oh my God, get out of my goddamn face. We are starting with something that has been flooding my timeline mentions on Twitter. We have to talk about this nickname trend.
Yep. Listen, we lied to you. I know all of them. I've been reading all the tweets. I know what everybody has been saying. It's hilarious.
Put
If you
me
guys have been
in.
on NBA Twitter as of late, there's been a big trend that started with the anomaly, with Jason Tatum getting the nickname the anomaly and everybody making fun of it. And I doing this like ironic spin of giving like every player in the league their own nicknames of the same ilk. And now it's become like post irony. Everybody's just coming up with the craziest nicknames they can imagine about every player they can imagine. And today we are going to rate some of the best ones from 1 to 10.
Let's go. Let's
All right.
go.
I seen a whole lot of bullshit on my goddamn timeline. I've been so confused, bro. So let's see what they're talking about.
I picked the best ones. You guys let me know how these work, if they're good or not. First up, we have the predicament for Evan Mobley.
What?
What's the predicament?
guarding
Please
him.
break this shit down.
Nah, that's
If
awful.
it's-
That's
if it has
awful.
Bro, he's a
hard-ass
problem. He's a
meaning-
predicament.
Stop it. No, it's not. No, it's not.
I just ran
This
into
is tough. What do you mean?
I just ran into the predicament in the paint. What am I gonna do?
Nah.
That's hard. I don't know what you guys are on about. This shit's a predicament. You
It's
can't deal with
better
him.
than the
That is
anomaly
hard.
for sure.
It is, but that doesn't.
He is a
that
problem
doesn't
to
fit
be
him.
solved.
That doesn't
He's
fit
a
him.
predicament.
No,
There's
I would
truth in the
say,
nickname.
Wemby's more the predicament because you see guys think about going up and then pass on the layup when Wemby's there. That's the predicament in their mind. Evan Mobley, again, amazing defender, all NBA, all defense this year. He's not the predicament though.
Of course, you
But
turn this
he
into
is a
Wemby Clay. It's
predicament, though.
unbelievable.
God damn, exactly. But we haven't
Stop it!
seen
You
Wemby
just spent
play in
25
like 2-3
minutes.
weeks.
You spent 25 minutes on Shea Glaze. I don't want to.
And you can spend 40 on Wemby. Say I'm lying right now.
I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10.
35,
This is a hard nickname.
I'm going 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna give this
haters.
a 5. I'm gonna give this a 5.
Whatever.
I feel like you're cooking.
The ad hominem fallacy for Jalen Green.
Ad hominem fallacy. What the?
Our-
I've
our-
never heard of that
our
word in
roosh.
my life, bro.
You crown eater. An ad hominem is when you attack somebody's credibility and not their argument. So they're saying that Jalen Green
Yeah,
is
read a
hating on for his
book, man.
personality and not who he is.
If it's
Go
not
to
Camping
school.
Underpants, then I'm sorry. I'm not reading it, bro.
This is a tough nickname. Now, with this being said, the nickname is saying that he's better than people think. They attack him for his personality. Now, that's not true. He is not good. But if you're a fan and you had to think of a good way to defend him, this is a tough nickname.
Yes, but it doesn't roll off the tongue. The honestly, the predicament
It's
is
tough in the
better
worst
than
ways,
this.
bro.
The
Yeah.
ad hominem fallacy. It's hard.
I'm not
by the
doing
time-
that.
Yeah, no, bro.
Yeah.
By the time you get done saying that, like it's pitch black outside. It takes way too long to say that. It's not. It's not it.
3 out
It's
of
not
10.
it. 3 out
This
of
is
10.
kind of
for sure.
whack.
Now, for background, the origin of this one is somebody made a TikTok of the worst nicknames in the NBA, and they made this up, and people started running with it, like ironically, but it was originally presented as being a terrible nickname.
Oh,
Good.
so you have to be a knower. So it is terrible. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're just not online enough. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Well, either way, we're aligned because it sucks.
Now, this one, hold on to your seats. The onomatopoeia for Bam Adebayo. This is
snap.
hard.
That's
This one
hard.
might stick. This one might stick past the Twitter joke. This is a real legitimately cool nickname.
Bam.
I do like that.
Adebayo. That's tough. This is what
The
an
onomatopoeia.
about.
Bam. Like that.
O-N-O M-O-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. This is what it's about right now. God damn, this might be my favorite nickname in the NBA. I felt that vibe.
That's the
Spell it
one.
again.
That's the one word he remembers from 7th grade.
Spell it again.
Ah, bro.
He
I
wanted to
can't
spell
it
a bee
again
with
'cause
that
I
word.
forgot. Hey, don't tell my secrets. Don't tell my secrets. It may have been 3rd or 4th grade. It is what it is.
This is clever. It rolls off the tongue. It's unique. This is a 10 out of 10.
I'm going 9 out of 10. I don't think it's the best one, but it is still pretty. It's up there.
This actually has a chance to stick. So I agree. It's a 10 out of 10 to me, man. It's gonna be. He will never run away from this nickname. I'm calling him that.
It's going to be on Basketball Reference. I'm sure it already is. The peculiarity for Luka Doncic.
What's
What are we
peculiar about
cooking?
him?
That's the issue. We're online too
Yeah,
much.
I don't
What?
like-
He's not normal. Shit's peculiar. What do you mean? You ever seen Luka Doncic play basketball? It's not regular.
Oh man,
Nah.
you see the way Luka Doncic hit that tween as he stepped back. He's so peculiar, bro. Ooh, he's so peculiar.
You see those behind the back passes? Peculiar as fuck.
Nah. Nah, I don't like this
That's
one. I
a
don't like this
pipsqueak ass nickname. It's not hard. What are we talking about? It's not valid whatsoever. 0 out
one.
of
I'm
10.
going. Yeah,
Damn.
I got to go 1. I don't think it's good.
Damn.
I'm off this one.
Too geeky. Too geeky.
I know that you're new king and you have to ride with whatever, but I don't like this.
Been my king.
Oh, of course.
The abnormality for Shaden Sharp.
I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of hard. The abnormality is kind of hard. I don't know why, but it makes sense for Shaden considering
I don't
background of this
like
player.
it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
you don't
I
like
would
anything.
What do you like?
I would
Do you
like
like sunshine? Do you like grass? Do you like happiness? What do you
Old
like?
ass man. Unc
Damn.
came to shit on all the fucking
I
young
would like
nicknames.
to switch the abnormality to Luka Doncic because I
To
think
Wemby?
no to Luka to Luka. I think this nickname is too good for Shaden Sharp. I think we have to switch it to Luka Doncic.
Are you?
He didn't see the dunk.
You didn't see Shaedon Sharpe over the last 3 games, bro. Shaedon Sharpe over the last 3 games.
I saw the dunk. The dunk.
And you didn't think it was abnormal?
That's peculiar. I mean, listen. I've seen people fly. I've seen people fly. I've seen people fly.
Really, you have to really dissect shit if you're peculiar, bro. That really takes some real high IQ.
But
shit.
like when you say something is abnormal, that really is like not normal.
Look at look at how far away his feet is up off the ground. That is abnormal. He is
Luka Doncic smokes hookah and drops 45. That's not normal. That's abnormal. The way Shaedon Sharpe jumps, that's peculiar. That's just strange. I can't believe that a human would do that.
Luka Doncic's game too much, bro.
No.
It's just simple. Who jumps higher? Who does abnormal stuff? He's not the same. He's not like the rest of us.
Who's more abnormal, Luka or Shaedon Sharpe?
Shaedon Sharpe is. Your name is Shaedon Sharpe. Your
actually.
Name is more
I'm sorry.
Bro.
I'm sorry. Listen, you're the homie. You're actually stupid. No, you're actually stupid. It's harder to find a Luka Doncic.
Dumb. What are you doing?
It's
right now?
harder to find somebody. It's hard to find somebody who plays like Luka than somebody who jumps like Shaedon Sharpe.
He is abnormal as hell. Look at the way he.
What? Okay. Mow the moron. Now what? Now what?
Too late. No, Donovan the doofus. Dr. Doofenshmirtz Donovan.
I love how this is the stupidest argument I ever heard. Peculiar and abnormal mean the same thing.
But what word sounds smarter? That's what we're talking about right
now. I don't need whatever.
Player?
I'm going 1 out of 10 for both of them. Switch them and it'll be 10 out of 10.
Oh my god. Okay. The Salamander for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Come on, man. You think Converse wants to call him that? You think
the Salamander? They're long, they're slippery, they're slithery. I don't know. I kind of see the video.
You don't know what a salamander looks like. You couldn't point one out if I told you.
You're telling me Shai doesn't give you lizard vibes when he attacks that paint?
No. No.
I think this ruins his aura if you call him this in public, bro. Ruins his stock.
He's gonna get like 10% less hot if you call him the Salamander.
10% less hot.
Yeah,
5%
if you yell
less
this
sales
out,
in Converse.
Facts. If you yell this out, he's not acknowledging you. He's not gonna nod. He's not gonna wave. He's not gonna do anything.
Tough.
You can't give this any credence. I'm going 0 out of 10. This is actually the worst one.
Damn,
you don't like anything, bro. I think it's like a solid 6, 7 out of 10. It's fitting.
Donovan, you've never looked more unk than you had the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh no, yes I have. Yes I have.
Said, I got some for you now.
He said, I got some unction moments in my lifetime. The Pythagorean theorem for Brandon Pajemski.
Pods, okay.
The Pythagorean theorem.
Huh.
He's smart like that.
Pajemski, Pythagorean.
Again, I'm not calling him dumb, but he's like that.
Oh man, I don't know what to think. It can't be a 5 out of 10 at all. I think this is leaning towards being a bad nickname. Bad nickname.
I kind of like it.
Why? Explain it to
the
me.
problem is I find all these very funny, and you guys are up here like these young motherfuckers don't know anything about nicknames. I would have come up with way better. I think these are all hilarious.
But why?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. What the? I don't get it.
Spell Pythagorean.
Flex.
You spell Pythagorean. I'll just throw numbers to you.
Pythagore.
You're looking at it right now.
You're looking at the screen, dummy. We got you.
Pythagorean.
Yeah, this is a 0 out of 10 for me. I really don't know.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's because Pods isn't. He's just not that exciting of a player. It doesn't align with his game.
What, you think the Pythagorean is supposed to be exciting?
I mean,
you've clearly never found the hypotenuse of a triangle. Like it's very riveting.
It's thrilling.
Break it down for me. Break down the angle for me real quick.
Oh my god. Next one. The paradox for Cade Cunningham.
That's hard. That's hard. This and the onomatopoeia are two that I will actually call these players.
The paradox.
So this one's going to stick.
Yes.
What's paradox about Cade Cunningham? Break this down for me.
I don't know. It's just hard. I don't know what it means, but it's provocative.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
But it's provocative, and it's cool. I might drop the in front of it. He might just be Cade Paradox Cunningham.
Cade Paradox Cunningham. You're inserting a middle name legally. That's funny as hell.
Paradoxical. It sounds like an E40 bar. It's paradoxical.
Your lingo on that is too good. It's too good.
We spent a lot of time making fun of E40. Like we have the boys down.
That's too good.
Kate Cunningham is magical. Shit is paradoxical.
What the hell? I'm scared. Why do you sound like it?
Paradoxical. Hey, Donovan, say Pascal Siakam.
Pascal Siakam.
You guys are dumb. What's going on?
Next up, Jalen Brunson, the head of the table.
Oh, 100%.
One big ass head on one big ass
10
table.
10 out of 10. That
table better be sturdy.
Any nickname with Jalen Brunson has to mention how he has the largest dome in the NBA.
The fact that we can weaponize his dome for cleverness makes it a 10 out of 10. You don't often get to see dome put to use like this.
His cranium is legitimately crazy. It's actually wild. It's actually wild.
What a proper way to put it. And it aligns with his play style on the court. He is the head of the team, head of the table, whatever it is. He is the focal point. So I like it. I'm rocking with it.
There we go. Well, finally, a one that Unks like. There we go.
I would a 10 out of 10.
We got Zachary Richiche, Leah Anomaly. Anomaly, however you say it in French.
I'm going 10 out of 10. I'm going 10 out of 10.
Why are you giving us a 10 out of 10?
This is so funny.
Leah Anomaly.
This is so funny.
This is clever. The Atlanta Hawks official Twitter account tweeted this out. I think it's etched in history. I got to go 9 out of 10.
The French are funny people, man.
I have no words for this. But he's a bucket right now, though, so we can give it a 10 out of 10.
The poster child for John Morant.
That's hard. That's 10 out of 10. Oh my god.
Oh, it's the poster
That's as good
child.
as see at the table. That's see, this is an actual
Wow.
unique nickname that uses elements of his personality, his game. This is elite.
Oh my
I like that. This could actually stick, bro.
Put that on the commercial. Put that on the commercial.
9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. TPC is smart as hell.
I might go 11 out of 10.
TPC. You love an acronym?
I love a good acronym, bro.
Okay.
This guy can't read.
The trolley problem for Santi Aldama.
The trolley problem. Is this what Donovan was talking about earlier?
I have no idea. I have no idea
what this one means.
Why he's called the
I don't
trolley
understand
problem.
it at all.
Did he fight on a trolley?
I don't know. I know what a trolley is. I know what a trolley problem is. I'm aware of the idea of the thought experiment. In this scenario, which we're discussing, Santi Aldama, I don't know who the person we're choosing to kill is. I don't know who the person we're choosing to save is. And I don't know who the 5 people who are dying incidentally are. I don't understand any element of this nickname.
That's a damning nickname to have, Santi Aldama. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's so damning.
And I looked it up. I couldn't find anybody explaining it. I don't know where this comes from.
Trolley problem. Is he just like a killer on the court or something? I don't know. Like
he's having a great year, but I don't call him a killer on the court. This is a 0 out of 10.
Until we get some explanation, it's a 0 out of 10.
There you go.
Damn. All right, man. That's all the nicknames I got for you today. I can't believe we argued about the definitions of abnormal and peculiar for so long.
We're talking about what was fitting more, bro.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been like that.
Exactly.
Most of you disagreed with me.
Damning conversation, bro. How could you lean that way?
He should have just been on the right side of history.
The
and
hell?
we could have moved on.
What's going on, man?
But no, you wanted to fight for the wrong side.
Send me your high school GPA.
This guy
This guy
peaked when he was 17.
The girls are fighting.
The girls are fighting.
Next thing we're gonna do, I've been seeing a lot of talk in the past 2 days on Twitter about Giannis and how ridiculous season he's having. And somebody made the point that the media is kind of over Giannis for some reason. Everybody's kind of set Giannis aside and like nobody talks about the fact that he's still like an all-time amazing player at his peak. So with that being said, I want to give Giannis some flowers today.
Okay, let's do it.
We're going to do a 5-level all-time comparison game with Giannis. I'm going to name 5 NBA players, all-time legends, other Hall of Famers, people that define the game. You let me know who is better, this player or Giannis.
Let's do it. Let's lock the fuck in, Donovan.
Yeah, you want to take a second? You want to take a lap?
We're good.
So again, I'm gonna name 5 players, 1 through 5 levels. You tell me who's better, them or Giannis.
Okay.
Level 1, Giannis or Dwight Howard.
Oh, this is Giannis.
It's easy. It's easy, Giannis.
Clearly.
It's easy, Giannis. I don't think Dwight is within 2 tiers of Giannis.
Woo, 2 tiers?
2 tiers. Now,
Yeah,
again,
honestly, the Orlando Magic low-key laid the blueprint of how to build around this slasher in the modern game with the spacing. Giannis took that shit to the next level. Clearly Giannis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a question.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we gotta start easy like always. It gets harder every time. Level 2, Giannis or Aaron Wiggins.
Wait.
I mean, the Aaron Wiggins of like the last like 2-3 weeks. That's a hooper.
Aaron Wiggins?
I don't see
like,
Giannis saving basketball.
That's a hooper.
Andrew Wiggins, not no like whatever
Mr.
other
Make your
Wiggins
choice.
you're
Make
thinking
your
about.
choice.
Aaron Wiggins
Pick a
is
side
hooping,
and stay
man.
on it.
It's close.
Pick a side and stay on it.
It's close.
But I'm probably leaning towards Giannis.
I think I have to go with Giannis, but Aaron Wiggins is right there.
If we're talking legends of the game, you can't disrespect either of them. They both have defined their era, but I guess we can go Giannis to keep the game moving. I guess we
Okay.
have to be biased.
Yeah, let's go to level 3.
The things I do for content. Level 3, Charles Barkley.
Okay. Charles Barkley. It's definitely
Probably.
Giannis still. It's a closer
I'm-
conversation than
Yeah.
Aaron Wiggins and Giannis.
Disrespect is
but
ridiculous.
it's a closer conversation, but damn, bro.
They're
I'm-
both top 3 players in the world for a long time.
Yes.
I guess you can just go Giannis because the defense is that much better.
The defense is that much better.
And he has a ring.
playmaking is still there, and he has a ring. MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. MVP Defensive Player of the Year in the same goddamn year, bro. That's only been done like twice, I think, in history. Outside of him,
Who got better jokes?
Yeah. Giannis.
At jokes?
Well, it depends on what type of jokes you're into.
Those
Me,
dad jokes move you?
I like dad jokes. I like
You like
jokes
those
that
blowjob
everybody
jokes
in
you
the
making?
room.
That moves you? Makes you giggle?
Horny.
Next one. Level 4, Kevin Durant.
Okay. I think this is tough. I think I'm gonna go
Finally,
KD.
you gotta think about it.
I think I'm going KD.
No.
I think I am.
Going
No?
Kevin
You're going
Durant?
Giannis over KD?
I think I'm going Giannis over KD. This level
What
of
the fuck?
dominance.
He's not better than KD. He's not better than Kevin Durant.
I can't say you thought about it way too fast. We have to have a real discussion. You thought about it way too fast.
Giannis is good enough that you gotta have a discussion with almost anybody. And the gap isn't gigantic, but it's pretty clear the gap goes to Kevin Durant. It's a small gap, but it's obvious. It's like the 12th best player of all time versus like the 18th. So the gap isn't huge.
I almost think
But it's
Giannis
Kevin
is
Durant.
like 16th. I don't know where
12
KD lands
12
on
is
that.
better than 16
Either way,
regardless.
Kevin
know where KD
Durant
lands on that.
tore his Achilles and came back and averaged 28. Like he as a scorer is as effortless and as easy as quote unquote scalable as you can have in NBA history. I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think.
I understand, but Giannis has had better scoring years statistically than KD, and then on top of that too, the defense is a landslide.
I know
So
what you're
that's
saying. The
where-
playoff scoring is the biggest difference. We know regular season scoring, I see why you say Giannis has seasons just as good. Kevin Durant is a much better playoff scorer, and the defensive gap isn't big enough to make up for it. When you look at like later career KD, when he was also an elite defender, it's Kevin Durant.
It's Kevin
I don't
Durant.
know,
It's not
man.
Giannis. It's not Giannis.
I think the defensive gap is much bigger than you're letting it be known right now.
So you
I'm
want to
not
go
gonna go
record
tooth
and say
and
you think Giannis is a better all-time player than Kevin Durant?
No, I just want to make content. KD's better.
Oh my God. There we go. It ends. Level 5, we would have had Hakeem Olajuwon. He
This
didn't
guy
get there though.
sucks.
You know.
I'm going Hakeem in there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Hakeem
yeah.
easy. That's what would Giannis have to do in order to surpass Hakeem?
I don't know. Win 3 more rings? I don't know. I don't see it
Damn,
happening.
3
Hakeem's just
more?
better.
Damn.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, 2 more at least. I don't know. Hakeem's just better. You need to have like a outsized accolade boost to get over him because I think he's better on. I don't know. Offensively, low key, I don't know.
I saw
better
like
offensive
3
player.
more rings. I don't know about that.
I gotta see because like
Hakeem's maybe the GOAT defender, so that takes you really far. If you want to tell me Giannis is a better offensive player, so if you think he matched him accolades wise, you could put him above him. I guess I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know. It'd be tough.
The fact that Giannis is adding that mid range to his bag right now, like that kind of like if he could do that for maybe like 2 or 3 more years, and we see that that's like actually consistent, and then maybe another ring. Then I would say offensively, because like Hakeem could do all the low post stuff. He has the little, 15, 16-foot jumper, whatever. And then, like I said, GOAT defender. Giannis would have to get to that level of offense in terms of having multiple things in your bag. So, but yeah, I'm going Hakeem pretty easy right now.
Okay,
that's fair. Next thing we're going to do, let's do a tier list. It's been a while. Last season we did a tier list of every single position, one by one until we did them all. This year, let's mix it up. We haven't done that for every position yet. I don't want to run it back the same exact way. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to put NBA big men into a tier list. We're going to combine power forwards and centers. I got 12 of them for you. You guys know how it works. S through F, put them into a tier list based on how good they are this season.
All right, let's do it.
This year. Gotcha.
Yeah. Or like right now, somebody's hurt, whatever, you can take into account. But just, from now going forward, who's a better player?
Okay. Where are we starting?
Who do you want to set the bar with? Karl Anthony Towns.
I'd go
take
B.
the floor.
I'd go B. Like he's having an amazing scoring season, but the defense is such a fault. And obviously like his situation shows the flaw so much more, but it's just you can't avoid it. So I'm going B.
Yeah, B's a safe place to go when you're a great offensive player, but you're just not above average defensively. B is about where you can be.
Okay. He's a good
all-star starter, though. So,
shout out. Great year. Doesn't change this tier list. Anthony Davis.
Oh, he's like A?
Yeah, he's in a different tier than Cat.
Easily, yeah.
I would definitely agree with that. Now the injury stuff scares me, but it always does. But Anthony Davis's talent is crazy. So
is there an argument for S?
No.
Since we're combining both positions, I guess not. Because like when we did centers last year, he's a top 3 center, so that deserves S tier. Mm-hmm. But I guess we can go A for now. Maybe we'll adjust it.
Okay.
We'll see. Victor Wembanyama.
Has he officially surpassed
AD?
No.
He's not a whole tier above AD. You have
so
to
the same tier.
Yeah.
If you want to say at his best this year, you think Wemby was marginally better, that's fine. It hasn't been long enough sample size to say he's like straight up better than Anthony Davis. At worst, at best, they're neck and neck, I think.
And the fact that both of them are probably going to be out for the rest of the year, like you have to take that into account. So, yeah,
I'm
going
cinematic parallels. Okay, Evan Mobley.
Oh, he's a
Has
solid
he earned
B to
the
me.
same tier? He's earned the same tier as Cat.
Yeah, because his defense is that tremendous, and offensively, the growth that I've seen him make stands out to me, bro. He deserves to be B.
And people are gonna see that. People are gonna see it, and they're gonna hate that. They're gonna be like, how fucking dare you put him next to the Big Bodega? Big Bodega gets goddamn buckets. And I understand why you say that. If you want to win a championship, having Evan Mobley is just as, if not more impactful, I think.
No, you're right. It's
Easy.
more impactful. I think it's more impactful.
If Evan Mobley was on the New York Knicks, do you think you look at him differently, Donovan?
100%. Like everybody.
Oh, if he was on the Knicks, had the Knicks bump, he'd be talked about as the next Tim Duncan. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. If he was on the Knicks, we'd win the title.
I don't know about winning the title. Slow down there. But I think
we'd beat everybody in 5.
All right, relax.
Right,
He's not Giannis.
We might sweep the Celtics.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
God. Alperen Sengun.
He is not B at all.
I'm going to see. He is. If we're talking about like the best of the best big man, he's fine, right? He's cool. He's solid.
Yeah.
I'm going C tier.
He made an all-star game. Cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah. The team
put on
him
for the
all-star game, but he did his part. He's an important part of what the Rockets do. But no, he's above average. He's not a star level. Like, oh, no, because he made an all-star game. So I don't know what verbiage I should use. He's not touching superstar level. You would clearly take 7, 8 other big men over him.
Yeah. I'm going.
My internet did just not.
You can say he's at the top of the C tier, right? Depending on who else goes in here. But if you really want
I think I have to leave.
hype him up, that's probably the highest we can go.
Yeah, you could argue B on a good day. Chet Holmgren.
See, he hasn't been around this year. Like
he got hurt. He got hurt, so he wasn't able to take a big leap that would look like he was going to make the start of the year. So
I think he probably deserves to be in the same tier as Sengun, maybe a tier lower, simply because we didn't see enough.
Hell no, not a tier lower. Fuck no.
I'd put him in. Let's go same tier. We'll go same tier as Sengun. Just because he hasn't been there.
D.
Yeah.
Because I think he's just as good as Evan Mobley, but Evan Mobley's having a better year and deserves to get that nod just because he's been producing, he's been there. And not to say Chet couldn't do that, but he got hurt and slowed down the start to his year. I think by the end of the year, we'll be putting Chet in B tier again.
100%.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Ivica Zubac.
D.
He has been a bucket this year. I don't know. He's been a killer on the block.
He's been great. He's a bucket, but I see him and I see him and James Harden, bro. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. He's getting spoon-fed a lot of buckets, bro. He's getting spoon-fed a lot of buckets. He's great at being big, getting rebounds.
It's not enough.
I love it. But he's definitely D.
I don't even... Look, being spoon-fed, I know what you're saying. It is easier for him. That's also doing him disservice. He has been getting some self-created buckets. He's been a killer on the glass on putbacks. He's really good one-on-one in the post now. He's having a much better year than just being spoon-fed buckets. He's not like DeAndre Jordan catching lobs every play.
No, definitely not. But that's like a heavy part of his game, though. Like that
pick and roll, made it better for sure.
Has transformed him as a player.
Yeah, but like he is so much better than people thought coming into the year.
So we're going D. I kind of want to go C. Yeah, I want to go C.
In Alfred Sengun range, you can't do that. Sengun was an all-star.
We're not putting Zubac next to Chet. I can't do that.
I forgot Chet. But Chet's only there because of
y'all don't respect Sengun. That's what I'm realizing.
Wait, we have next to Chet. What do you mean?
Who gives a damn about next to Chet? He's in the C tier.
You think Sengun should be higher?
No, I'm just saying, like, you're using Chet as a meter instead of Sengun.
Because Chet's better. What do you want from me?
That's what I wanted to hear.
I had to say one of the names. That's a better one.
But Chet's only here because his hip was broken. Like if he was healthy, he'd be at the top of this list. So that's why I'm saying let's measure it against Sengun. And Zubac is.
I'm fighting for you right now.
Zubac is not better than Sengun. I can't do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's not better. But he could be at the. If Sengun is at the top of that tier, Zubac could be at the bottom of that tier.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm okay with him in top of D, but if you want to say he's bottom of C on a good day, I'm fine with that.
On my personal tier list, he would be in C tier. But this is a communal thing, so I will abide.
Well, yeah, if this is your tier list, you'd have Wemby and S+. You'd have nobody else within 2 tiers.
I mean, listen, do I speak facts? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm early, you know.
I'm paint.
Did you take your meds, Donovan?
No.
Oh, makes sense.
I'm off.
Oh shit! Well, that's a problem.
Zion Williamson.
Ooh, it's so hard to rank him. Also, he can't be.
As of late, he has been incredible. You do have the durability concerns. You have the concerns of we've seen this peak before, then we saw it fall. I don't know what to do with that. But listen, the last 20 games, he's been playing like goddamn A tier.
When he's on the goddamn court, I can't look at anybody below B tier or in B tier and be like, yeah, like you're better than Zion Williamson. I'm just thinking about when he's on the court. Don't talk to me about anything else. I think he's A tier.
I'm going to let y'all have it because I cannot speak logically when it comes to Zion Williamson.
All you see is
how can anybody?
I'm okay going B tier. We can put the durability concerns in there. We can go B tier. But when he's healthy, the past 2 weeks, he has undoubtedly been playing like A tier level.
Tough.
But we'll be a little reasonable. We'll go B tier. We won't glaze too hard, I guess. Draymond Green.
Hooper.
B tier? Or C?
What?
Fuck no.
Wait, you guys are disrespecting Draymond?
Relax.
Next to Evan Mobley, Evan Mobley brings a different level of offensive production while also being an elite defender. I'm okay with C tier, though, next to Chet and Sengun. But the scoring punch that someone like Evan Mobley brings while also being an elite defender, I can't put him in the same tier.
I forget Evan Mobley's in that tier.
We'll go C tier.
She's cool.
But then again, you're trying to win a championship. You taking Cat, you're taking Draymond.
I'm taking Draymond.
So you should put him higher.
It also depends. It also depends on what the rest of the team looks like.
Not really, because if you put Draymond on that Knicks team right now, you guys are much better off.
I mean, listen. Yeah, like we'd win a title.
Draymond starting at center?
Yeah, we'd win a title.
Compared to what Cat is?
We're beating everybody in 5.
You think the Knicks would be better with Draymond as our starting
We might
center
sweep the Celtics if we had Draymond
Towns?
at center.
Okay, you're calm down. Cat isn't that bad. I mean,
he's not
Draymond
that
would
bad.
not make
I'm
sense
talking
there.
about when it comes to winning a championship, who's better off leading you closer towards that? It's 110% Draymond Green.
Well, is Steph coming along
100%.
with him?
Yeah.
If you insert Draymond Green them DHOs with Jalen Brunson, he's gonna send him to the moon, bro.
They're a package. They don't separate.
And if that's the case, then yeah.
Do we go B or C? I don't know. Like,
Put him in B. Put him in
No,
B.
that's
just things that we
I
can't
want to go.
explain.
We got to go C. We got to.
how much of the voodoo magic is tied to Steph Curry and him being a perfect fit there, and how much of that would Draymond bring to another team right now at this stage of his career?
According to Oscar Robertson, all of it is attached to Steph Curry. And I'm gonna trust the old man. We're putting Draymond in C.
I don't know, man. I think if you put Draymond in any offense,
He's out.
their offense prevails and their defense skyrockets. Me personally, I think he's B.
Keep
But
in
it's
mind, the C
communal
tier
again.
is still all-star level players, so we're not exactly putting him in like
Zubac
a terrible
range.
company, you know? Yeah, it's not Zubac.
Put him next to Sengun.
You're the one who hates Sengun the most.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Next to Sengun. Yeah.
Listen, you need to be careful. The Turks are not gonna allow you to enter Turkey.
Mafia, man.
Bro, I love the Turks. I actually met a Turk the other day at the mosque, man. Like, we're aligned. Relax. I'm good over there.
All right.
Brooke Lopez.
What's the lowest tier?
F.
He's that.
Oh,
Damn.
He's good.
shit.
Rim protection and 3-point shooting. and shit, but,
He
like,
just put him in F tier, and it was like, nah, but he's good though. He's all right.
yeah. Yeah, but he's like F. He's not better than Zubac.
Damn.
That's
Hold on,
the
let me slow my tracks a little bit. Zubac is having a better year.
No, Zubac is better than at this point. Brooke Lopez looks old, is old, plays like he's old. Zubac is better at this stage of his career.
But he's still stroking that motherfucker, though.
yo.
Damn. You like that?
I like when he strokes it like that. Yeah, I mean, woo. Let me go back to his 3-point percentage. Wait, I can save myself. I swear to God, give me a second. I swear to God. Brooke Lopez 3-point percentage. Oh shit! I typed Aaron Brooks. Fuck, forgive
That
me,
was
please.
crazy.
Give me a second. Okay, he's shooting 36% from the 3-point line this year. That's pretty good on 5 attempts per game.
Yo, that's crazy.
Ooh, man, he's only averaging 5 rebounds. Holy shit, that's tough.
That was the worst verbiage I could imagine.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't mean that.
Nikola Jokic,
S tier.
clear
Why?
cut, best player in the world, best
I'm-
big man in the world.
And I'm
Without
sorry.
with Joel Embiid being dusted, there's no competition for him anymore.
Yeah, it's S tier. And I'm sorry that I paused for half a second before I said S tier. That was too long. It was too long.
Yeah, you owe a great debt to Jokic Nation for that.
Serbia,
Can
I'm
you
pulling
imagine?
up.
Can you
I'll pay my
can you
respects.
imagine how much last year one of the recipes of the Denver Nuggets failing was due to Nikola Jokic's lack of spacing. He came back the next year. Now he's shooting like 45% from 3. He's the best spacer in the league. What the fuck is going on? Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's insane that he might not win the MVP, and that's like, okay, that he's having such a great season and might not win the MVP is insane, but that's the league we're in today. It's just like Luka Doncic last year, 34, 9-9, not winning an MVP.
It's
About
not
to see
good.
another one this year.
Not good enough, buddy.
Welcome to the modern NBA. The amount of stars we have, the legends at their peak is insane.
45% from 3 just don't make no damn sense, bro.
It's hilarious. How many attempts? Like fucking 5?
Yeah, like 4.4. It dropped off a little bit, but
Yeah,
shit,
still
bro.
a good amount of
5.
attempts.
Run that bitch up towards his way. It's insane.
Crazy, man. There we go. That's our tier list of these 12 big men. So in S tier, we have Nikola Jokic. A tier, Anthony Davis and Victor Wembanyama. B tier, Kat, Evan Mobley, and Zion. C tier, Sengun, Chet, and Draymond. D tier, Zubac. And F tier, Brooke Lopez.
Damn, Brooke. I didn't want to do it.
I think we
to
got this perfect. I tried to pick an array of talented levels of players, an array of levels of talented players to like have a nice spread. I feel like you guys nailed it.
Me personally, I would make a couple of changes, or just really one. But other than that, I feel pretty good with this list. I don't
You
go
want to put
as far as nailed.
Sengun down to D tier, don't you?
No. I want to raise Draymond up. I have no smoke with Sengun.
Oh.
Guess
I think
what?
he's all right. I was showing y'all.
Guess what? We don't care.
But guess what? This is not a perfect TD3 tier list like you usually think it is. It's not.
Damn.
But it's good though.
It's tough. Sorry, we don't have the most stamp of approval perfect tier list.
Wow.
You don't.
Next thing we're going to do, blind ranking. I'm going to name you 5 NBA players. I want you to blind rank them based on their career earnings.
Oh, let me sit up. I love pocket
Who
watching.
do you think has the deepest pockets?
I love pocket watching.
1 through 5. I'll reveal the amount they made at the very end. Number 1, our first player, Jamal Murray.
Ooh, he signed a big ass contract after the championship, I believe.
He did. But has that kicked in yet? Wait, so are we doing like we're doing like up until this point or just like?
Well, yeah, that's career earnings. How much you made so far?
Do you want to go like
future?
3?
Contract doesn't matter.
I think Jamal Murray's like 5.
5?
I mean, he may be 4 actually. He may be 4. I'm not a pocket watcher. You do this better than me, man.
We'll go 4. I just enjoy doing it. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I do like pocket watching. But we'll put Jamal at 4.
Okay.
Jamal Murray. Okay. Kobe Bryant.
Kobe's made
Might
money.
be
1.
1 or 2 in this. We don't know who's won though yet. I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard. Like obviously Kobe has made a lot of money, but Kobe didn't play in one of the most lucrative NBA scenarios, but it's also
But he played
Kobe
for a
Bryant.
long time.
It's also Kobe Bryant. So I'm gonna go Kobe 1.
No, I think we're shooting.
You want to go
ourselves
2?
in the goddamn foot.
Do you want to go 2?
Me personally, I might put him 3 in terms of how much money.
Damn.
He made.
Stop.
Are we talking about just NBA contracts?
Yeah,
Then he's probably gonna be 3.
he played for 20 years, and is getting max deal after max.
You heard
deal.
the man. He's probably gonna be 3.
But what does like the max contracts look like compared to like back then compared to now? It's
different.
tough.
All right, we can go 3, but if we get jacked up,
If I cook this is it. But okay.
Okay, Kobe Bryant at 3. All right, Rudy Gobert.
Bag man, Mr. Bandman himself.
He's made a lot of money.
Yeah. We doing endless money spreads.
So we have to go 2.
The money spread.
We have to go 2. I'm not putting him at 1, but 2 would make sense right now. So we have Gobert,
Rudy Gobert above Kobe Bryant. Okay.
We have Gobert, Kobe, Jamal Murray, and now we have 1 and 5.
Max contract over max contract. I'm leaning
Gobert at 2. Okay. Paul Pierce.
This
Rudy
is
Gobert.
ridiculous. This is
Paul Pierce?
ridiculous.
It's 5.
Yeah, Paul Pierce.
It's 5.
This whole ranking is so messed up.
Am I not good at pocket watching right now? What's
This
wrong?
is so messed up.
All
I
right.
think I'm
Number
killing
1,
something.
we have Dwayne Wade.
He's
I mean, he's going in the 1 spot.
yeah.
So it
No,
doesn't
we
matter.
had no choice. But I don't feel good about D-Wade at 1.
You guys did an absolutely horrendous job.
Of course we do.
Wow.
Mo, you did indeed fuck the list. The real order, we have actually not the real order, but this is the damn this fucking screen is messing up.
I think I fucked up with Kobe.
This is what the actual numbers are. Jamal Murray made 136 million. Kobe Bryant 328 million. Gobert 217. Paul Pierce 200. And Dwayne Wade 199.
Wow, this is our worst blind rankings ever.
Kobe should have been won by a mile. Kobe was a clear-cut number 1. It wasn't even close.
Bro, what type of money were they slinging Kobe back then? The salary cap just doesn't make sense. It don't add up, bro.
Bro, he retired in 2016, not 1995. You were talking about the old days like it was the 70s.
He played
Oh
for
my
20
gosh.
years.
Damn.
Jamal Murray was last by far, and Dwayne Wade was second to last. Dwayne Wade actually made $1 million less than Paul Pierce.
That's interesting.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's
I probably would have
Pat Riley.
gotten that messed up. Right.
You guys got 1 spot right, though. You got Gobert, too. That was correct. Good job.
Hey, man, Rudy Gobert, he never let me down. Steady and ready as always.
Steady and ready. All right. All right, guys.
Steady and ready. The first time anybody has ever used those words to describe Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to name 2 past NBA players. You let me know who would have the better career if they were drafted today.
All right.
So they start their career in 2025, going forward, who would retire with a better career?
Okay, let's talk about it.
First names, Yao Ming or Tracy McGrady.
Tracy McGrady. Easy.
His game is tailor-made for today.
Easy.
You don't think Yao Ming can be Wemby meets Jokic?
They would have Yao Ming up on the perimeter. They would attack him in every single pick and roll. And I'm not sure if he can move that way. So I'm going Tracy McGrady. He'd be a bucket. He'd have so much more space. He's
T-Max as a slasher in today's NBA?
32 a night.
He was like a tough shot maker that could slash when he was young. Today, he would be the inverse. He would be unstoppable attacking the paint.
Bro, Yao Ming might slip a disc in his back by trying to run around so much in this goddamn space to be allowed today. He's not catching up.
Yeah, I'm going T-Mac.
Yeah.
Herniated disc.
And don't put T-Mac on a bad team. He will look. Stop it.
37.
He'll look exactly easy.
37 easy.
LaMelo Ball numbers,
LaMelo Ball numbers,
but better.
Gilbert Arenas or Rajon Rondo?
Gilbert Arenas or Rondo? We seen Rondo in this age already. I'm 100%
Young
leaning
Rondo
towards
starting
Gilbert.
his career today.
It depends on what the team around him is, but the league is catered.
I'm leaning towards that high power, like that firepower guard always.
What kind of vets does Gilbert Arenas have in his locker room to influence him from a young age? That's the question.
I don't know. I mean, listen.
The NBA has a very
down the
good
right path?
safety and prevention program right now in place.
I mean, part of that is because of Gilbert Arenas.
This is how you inject the right type of dynamite to come and test those motherfucking rules.
I don't know if that's good PR. So with that being said, Isaac, after your last statement, I'm leaning towards Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, I think I'm going Rondo's because what was illegal in 2007 is still illegal now. So I'm going with Rondo.
The question is who would have a better career, not who would have the better 1 year peak.
Exactly.
Some extracurriculars you got to take into account.
Exactly.
Let's go with Rondo. Next one. We have Steve Nash, or why am I drawing a blank? What the hell? Who was the coach of the Mavs? Why is my brain fried?
Jason Kidd.
Or Jason Kidd. What the fuck just happened? I'm looking at his face. It's fried.
I'm going
Jason Kidd.
I'm going Steve Nash. And I actually don't. This might be a little blasphemous, but I don't think it would be close. I don't think
it'd be close either.
Yeah.
I think everything that made Jason Kidd special would be a little bit less effective today, and every flaw that you could ignore back then would stand out a little bit more today. He's perfectly suited for the 2000s.
Yes. But Steve Nash, like his passing, the pace at which he played the game, his shooting. If Steve Nash was either allowed or told to shoot more with his efficiency, oh my goodness. I mean, he would dominate. He would get at least one MVP in this era as well.
Yeah, you get everything that 2021 Chris Paul brought in the modern era, plus everything that prime Trae Young brought when he averaged 30 for a season. Like, you would have that combination of scoring and disciplined playmaking.
Reed Shepard, don't let me down. I believe in you.
Oh, God.
That is not the comp.
That's your only hope for finding a new Steve Nash? Fuck. Yeah. I like Reed a lot, but damn, you're setting him up.
Listen, stature-wise, it makes sense.
But then again, I just hope Steve Nash would actually take more shots today and wouldn't be Mr. 10 shots a game like he was back then.
Who knows? He might because the amount of easy looks that he would get off this year.
I need Steve Nash at like 17 shots a game.
At least.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Hakeem Olajuwon or Charles Barkley?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, Hakeem, easy.
I don't know. Charles Barkley, like that mobility he had back then was different. Like everything Giannis does, like a lead playmaker today, you would do that with Charles Barkley being this power forward that can like function as a point guard. He might translate perfectly.
But so does Hakeem Olajuwon when it comes to obviously all the like free range post skills that he has, the touch around the rim. I'm assuming that he'd be able to like stretch out his game because of the mid range ability and shit. The passing is there as well, and then he's gonna win defensive player of the year on defensive player. Yeah, exactly. So he's just a total package.
He might shoot.
He's the perfect center
38% from three.
He's the perfect center in today's NBA.
Hakeem works in any era.
Mm-hmm. He really does. Yeah, you said perfect center in today's NBA. He's not more suited for today. He's just perfectly suited for every era. So you can say that for whenever you want.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going with Hakeem, and it's kind of easy for me.
Yeah, I think Charles Barkley would be better today than he was in the 90s, and Hakeem would be just as good. But Hakeem is coming from a level that's better than Charles Barkley, so you still pick him.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay. Cool. Nick Young or Tony Allen?
Nick Young or Tony Allen? I think I'm leaning.
I'm going Tony Allen.
Prime Tony Allen scoring.
We've eliminated both versions of these players from the modern NBA. So who could be the last of a dying breed?
I'm going Tony Allen because I know teams that have had like good defenders and bad shooters, and play them and just pray that they knock down shots. But eventually you get to a point where guys are like buckets and off the bench buckets and can't play defense. And you're like, yeah, like that's it. That's all he is.
The highest 3-point attempts that Tony Allen ever had in his career was 1. And literally 1. The second highest, 1.9. 0.9, bro. He was not shooting.
I'm still going Tony Allen.
Out of pure principle, out of respect for Tony Allen, you can't go any other way.
I think Tony Allen's more of a winning player, so I think I'm leaning towards Tony Allen.
He'd be Alex Caruso. Like, that's...
Oh, hell no.
Bro.
But offensively, they are nothing alike.
He doesn't play make whatsoever.
Yeah, like...
I'm talking shooting-wise. Yeah,
well, Alex Caruso, like,
28%
for a little bit and keep the offense honest.
This is like
if they started today, if Tony Allen started today and he came up in today's NBA and they told him what to work on, they told him what to prioritize, he could get a skill set similar to that.
I think I'll more so compare him to Chris Dunn, bro. I think that's better.
I compare him to Jared Vanderbilt.
Either way.
But way better defensively.
Either way, he's on a roster. He's on the floor. He's making an impact. I'm taking Tony Allen.
Okay.
Keeping a job. Next up, Muggsy Bogues or Manute Bol?
Manute.
You can't be 5'3" in today's NBA. They will keep you around if you are 7-something.
You'll get the Boban treatment? You'll just be on a roster?
Yeah.
It's proven concept.
100%.
They're treating him like a circus, just showing up city to city, playing like 5 minutes a game. Fans rooting for him. Damn, he's getting Taco Fall treatment, basically. It's tough.
Taco Fall was in the G League. Yeah, he played basketball.
I guess.
But what?
Manute's actually good, though.
Manute could shoot a little. Well,
back then, yes, he could.
So for today, he'd shoot a lot today. I'm sure he developed that more. He'd be a real stretch big.
Yeah, I'm leaning
he'd
towards
be like
Manute
Luke Cornett
easily.
with a jumper.
That's dangerous.
Donovan, you don't believe in your Isaac Donovan. You don't believe in your short kings being able to thrive in the league today?
He's shorter than me. I don't understand still. Like, I can imagine. It's insane.
That's fucking crazy.
It's the most impressive feat in sports. We don't talk about it enough. The fact that he had a long NBA career is one of the 5 most impressive things anybody's ever done in sports.
14 years is ridiculous.
Muggsy Bogues playing a decade is more impressive than LeBron scoring 50K points.
Let's talk about it.
The barrier to entry is
that's the A block for the stream on Tuesday.
Muggsy Bogues.
It's more impressive than Bo Jackson playing 2 sports. It's more impressive than Deion Sanders playing both ways.
Oh yeah. Nah, that was always a sham. We knew that.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm playing.
This happened in MJ's era, bro. It's tough. You hate to see it.
Nice little propaganda getting off there.
I know.
No problem, just facts.
Dennis Rodman or Lamar Odom?
Oh, Lamar Odom.
Dennis Rodman would be a nasty small ball 5 today.
He would.
Lamar Odom, though, more space for that slashing and playmaking. That'd be interesting.
I think teams would more so be fiending for a guy like Lamar Odom than Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman was a defensive player of the year. He's going to be able to be a little bit more versatile, I think.
Oh, but the offense would be a problem today, though. The offense would be a real problem. He's not like a good role man.
So you want
to play the 5 like that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know, right? If you use Dennis Rodman on 2K and you put him in the corner, he's knocking that corner 3 down. It's kind of like that.
Welcome to real life. I don't know if he's doing that in the modern era of real life basketball.
If we can get Dennis Rodman to stand in that corner and take 1 to 2 threes a game, I'm doing it.
If I was to pick between either player, I actually want to see Dennis Rodman in today's NBA because he'll be putting that shit on, bro. He was a trendsetter for fucking league fits back then, bro. Are you kidding me?
That's true as well. I'm
going
Dennis Rodman.
Lamar Odom without any distractions, just in the modern NBA with all the spacing in the world, like
without any more distractions. There's way more distractions in the league today.
Oh, that's true.
That's a major issue, bro.
That's true. Instant access to your phone.
I didn't want to go there.
Anybody's reachable at all points.
There's like 4 more Kardashians in the rotation.
They make the rounds now. They're courtside now.
Accessibility is at an all-time high. Keep him out of the league today, bro.
Kendrick Perkins or J.R. Smith?
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith, easy. Nothing fun about Kendrick Perkins' game, bro. What the hell? Kendrick Perkins won't even get no playing time. What the hell?
What, you don't think he can come in and be an anchor? You don't think he can be Zubac?
No, he can't be
Hell
Zubac.
no.
He can't be Zubac. if you put J.R. Smith on the Magic, that's what they
It's
need.
Malik Monk. That's exactly what they should have did this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
Glove in hand fit.
I'm trying to
Glove
tell
in
people.
hand.
We're speaking facts right now. We're speaking facts. Plus,
Who is Kendrick Perkins today?
Ooh, that's a great question. Dominic Barlow on the
Gwait?
Atlanta Hawks.
Gwait? What are you, 5? What is this? That's a great question.
Oh, that's great.
I'm with
Luke Cornett. He's Luke Cornett today.
Oh, Luke Cornett is a way better rebounder. Don't disrespect him.
Oh, my bad. Yusuf Nurkic.
He left from his iPod. No,
call.
he left. He probably left from his iPad.
He said, "Use Nurkic." You hung up on us. Y'all start hearing him talk because I'm recording the camera separately. We can't hear him right now.
So you can't give guys iPads, man.
Yeah, you can't do anything. These motherfuckers don't know what they're doing anymore.
Never gave y'all money. Yo, we got a deal. Your favorite guy.
What happened?
Stephen A. Smith just got $100 million.
And y'all, that was the last matchup. This is the end of the episode.
Happened?
Oh, Mo's back. Wait, Stephen A. Smith got $100 million
Oh my
live on the
goodness.
pod?
Wait, what happened?
Let me go to
Well-
Twitter. Who broke this news? Oh, now Donovan lagged out. All right, y'all. This is the end of the episode. If
we're
you're still
here.
here, comment, shout out Stephen A. Smith, and we'll see y'all next week.